I'm not sure if anyone is here yet. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes for people to kind of filter in. Um, and then I'll start. Oh, hello. There we go. Someone's in the chat. Hello, bitter sweetest buggy. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes for some people to file in. This is going to be very awkward because this is one of the few times I've actually used Twitch and I'm not really used to using it. So things are going to be very awkward as I try and meander my way around getting this to work. But the plan today is to basically look at some bad videos from the quartering from Coach Red Pill. I know Jake has tackled them a couple times, more than a couple, but I figured I'd try my hand at it. Grey Dutch Milkmaid, hello. Let me just put this in the Discord real quick, and then I guess we can just go ahead and look at some shit that's going to make me annoyed. Little echo. There's echo. Hold on, let me figure it out. How about now? Is that better? Okay, great. Yeah, sorry. Again, like I said at the beginning of this, I'm really bad at Twitch because I'm not used to doing it. So I both had an audio input capture and output capture, so it was double capturing my voice. So again, let me just Discord this. Discord and then Jake. Announcements. This is thrilling so far. Thank you for sticking around before I get to the actual entertainment value. Yes. At everyone. Take that, Discord. 700 people just got phone notifications. Can we handle this much power? I'm not sure. Either way, thank you everyone for showing up so far. Oh, thank you, Ronnie Alley, for hosting me. That's nice of you. Sushi Mom 10. God, I wish my hair would do waves like that. Jealous. I've been working on my hair a lot recently with my girlfriend, actually, because I for a long time was trying to straighten it since I got it long. But it was just frying it, and it was coming out really bad. So I figured out that I have basically wavy hair, so I've just been trying to moisturize it a lot and scrunch it up in the shower, and it's turned out pretty well. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna get to the awful things now. I gotta open up my. Let's see. What do I gotta do? I gotta make the video capture smaller. And then we're gonna watch some videos from, I think, Coach Red Pill. First, at least. Am I trying the curly girly stuff? I'm not familiar with that, actually, so no. Oh, I shouldn't have this up. It'll be like infinite screen over here. God, I gotta figure something out. Hold on, let me pull up Twitch on my phone so I can have the chat readily available. Again, like I said, I'm not used to Twitch like Jake is, so I apologize for how this is gonna come across, because I'm not very good at it. Oh, I can pop chat out. I will do that. Oof. How do I go to my own channel? Twitch.tv/Hannah Reloaded. That's not right. I just want to go channel. There we go. Okay. How do I pop out the chat? The collapse. Chat settings. Clear chat. No. Someone in the chat tell me how to pop out chat. I'm so good at this. Poor K. No, that's wrong also. I'm not good at Spanish either. Twitch and Spanish gear. Chat settings. Slow mode. Recent. Clear chat. Slow mode. Pause chat. I didn't... Alright, fuck it. I think I'm just gonna keep chatting on my phone, because... Okay. Chat'll be on my phone. That's what we're gonna do. So, what we're gonna be looking at first is some Coach Red Pill. I haven't actually looked at any of these videos yet to decide which one, but I thought it would be fun if, as a group, we decided which video we were going to look at, especially considering I'd imagine many of you people also watch Jake's live stream occasionally, and Jake watches these regularly, as far as I understand, or at least he used to. I'm not sure if he's watched any of these recently. So, based on this page, are any of these videos in particular jumping out to any of you? There's really no wrong answer here. It's all Coach Red Pill. It's all gonna be bad. Yes, I will suffer more if chat picks my poison, but that's great. Someone says never be a simp. That's a good one. Oh, a lot of people are saying never be a simp. So, never be a simp. Yeah, everyone's picking never be a simp, so let's see, where is that one? Never be a simp. Let me know if the volume and everything is okay on this. If not, we'll, figure something else out. Or should I keep it like this? I don't know how Twitch is in terms of fair use. I guess I'll keep it like this, unless otherwise specified.
So there's this guy I know, a guy called Ethan, right? Ethan, he's just a fat fuck. He's a nobody, right? He's pretty much of a loser, and I'll explain why. See, one time...
Wait, why are we shitting on Ethan all of a sudden? I mean, yeah, he may be a bit of a fat fuck, this hypothetical Ethan, and that's fine. But really, we're gonna start out by just shitting on the guy who is apparently probably going to be a simp based on the title. Maybe this person is lonely or depressed. Do we have to outright start making fun of this hypothetical individual right off the bat? Yes, we do, because Coach Red Pill's a fucking piece of shit.
Ethan and I...
By the way, you should be a simp if it's for me. Speaking of which, I have my transition fund below the stream if you want to help out with that.
A few other guys, right? Acquaintances. We were having drinks at this bar in Knoxville. We're having drinks here, and there was this bartender. And she was a woman, mid-20s, I would guess. And she was, how could I put it? She was pretty good looking, actually. Yeah, I mean, I'd certainly bang her. Yeah, but she wasn't like, you know, my kind of...
Why? Okay, this bothers me about Coach Red Pill and people like him. Guys who, I'm gonna start streaming regularly, and this is gonna be a chance for all of you to get inside my stupid fucking brain, because I don't talk about this stuff on the show a lot. But, especially since I've transitioned, and I'm in the middle of my transition right now. I've been on hormones for about a year at this point. And I've been on T blockers for probably like 6 months. I don't know, something like that. Maybe a little bit less, because my doctor wanted me to start on the estrogen before the T blockers for some medical reasons and aesthetic reasons, because she found throughout her practice that male to female who start on the estrogen first and then get on the T blockers a little bit later tend to have better results in terms of, like, breast growth. So regardless, I've been on the T blockers and the estrogen for like a year now. And I find men who feel the need to wear their bravado and their dick on their sleeve constantly, like people like Coach Red Pill, who it's all showiness. It's all like, oh, I'd fuck that woman. I'd blah, 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 blah. But like, I find it so viscerally obnoxious. I cannot explain to you. So, I don't understand this personality. Frankly, I think Coach Red Pill looked better with a beard, by the way. This is not a good look for him. Not to disparage his looks, I don't really care, but I just think on a personal level, beard would have been the better choice. Yes, someone says, I'm glad Hannah's physician had consideration for the titties. I agree. Thank you.
Girl, at any rate, because...
Oh, is it makeup or Hannah's cheeks being rosy and stuff comes from the hormones? I have rosacea, which is a condition where I have a lot of blood vessels on my cheeks very close to the surface. I actually didn't put any makeup on today. I really should when I stream, so I don't look like trash, but no, that's just my face. Okay.
She didn't take care of herself. She was dressed up, you know, and just like...
Do you need a certain number of followers before a channel can have subs? Yeah, I gotta stream more so I can become an affiliate, and then after that become a partner.
Jeans and a sweatshirt and her hair tied up, no makeup, you know. I mean, not my kind of girl, because I prefer girly girls, but that doesn't matter. The point is, see, she was working this bar, and there was a shift change. So because of this,
oh, I didn't take what you said as mean, for the record.
At the bar. And we'd only had like one drink, I think, perhaps two. Okay, it doesn't matter. The point is that we all like, you know, paid up for our drinks. But Ethan, right? Ethan, what does he do? He'd been talking to this bartender. We all had, right? Because there weren't that many people around. It was, you know, middle of the day or something. And Ethan, you know, he pays his tab, which was like, I don't know, $10 or $12, and he puts on top of that a tip. $100 tip. Yeah. the fact is, at the
ooh, weird cross edit where he like starts the voice of the next one before the
moment,
cut.
at the time, in that instant, I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Ooh, that was a stylistic choice, wasn't it? That's a little weird for a vlog type video. Okay, so Coach Red Pill's friend decides to leave $100 tip to this waitress. How do I put this? That falls, for those of you who don't know, I imagine everyone does, but just in case, a simp in the common vernacular basically means typically a man who pathetically will donate or give money to women in an attempt to get them to sleep with them. Think people who follow a bunch of people on, like, let's say an e-girl on Twitch and donates a bunch of money just to get their attention. That's what a simp is supposed to be. I'd argue that trying to overly tip this waitress in a physical location is distinct enough from being an online simp that it would be a different thing. But either way, I find the idea of men trying to do this kind of thing to women kind of... I'm of two minds on it. On the one hand, is it really pathetic to try and throw money at someone in an attempt to get attention romantically, sexually, otherwise? Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know. There are more destructive ways, I suppose, for men to take out their, like, loneliness. I don't know. I don't know.
Doing, you know, because I paid off my tab and I gave her, you know, 10% or 20%, whatever the tip, less than 20%, yeah, because, you know, she'd just been the bartender. She hadn't done anything special for me. She hadn't given me a blowjob or anything. I mean,
okay, again, even when I'm like, yeah, I get that the $100 tip is excessive. Why is Coach Red Pill feel the need to sexualize this woman so consistently? It's not like she gave me a blowjob or anything. She wasn't supposed to. She was a bartender. A 20% tip is not reserved for people who suck your dick, Coach Red Pill. What's wrong with you? Why do you feel the need to speak like this about other people who are just doing their damn jobs?
I'd go to, I'd go over 15% for a good blowjob, but, she hadn't,
Wait, are you telling me... Okay, tipping culture in general is pretty fucked up. I'm not a fan of tipping culture, although I do tip because we do live in one. So, I typically tip 20%. The idea that you wouldn't tip over 15% unless someone sucks your dick, even if he's being hyperbolic, is kind of bad, and points out that he's probably a real shit tipper.
Oh, you just served me my drinks. And it wasn't that we were like sitting at some table. No, we were sitting all at the bar, right? It was like no effort from her part. I mean, to tell you the truth, the only reason I gave her a tip was because, I was too embarrassed not to. But, she hadn't really...
Well, you should be embarrassed not to tip your waiter or waitress, because unfortunately we live in a country where wages are done in such a way that tipping is basically part of the necessary money for people in those jobs. You should feel embarrassed, rightfully so, for not tipping in a country where it's regular to do so. Why does he say that like, oh, I would have felt embarrassed? Yes, you cheap fuck. You have enough money for dumb cameras and shit. Like, come on.
Done anything to earn it. But anyway, this guy Ethan, he slips her 100, right? And like he does like a show of it, right? And the funny thing is that, see, this girl, what does she do? She, pockets the $100 bill. Of course she does. But, does she give him the time of day? No, of course not. No. Yeah, she knows a mark when she sees one. Yeah, the guy's a loser. He's a simp. Yeah.
I very much doubt the woman thought that man was a simp directly, just because I think we forget in this insular internet culture that we're all very steeped in if we're here on Twitch or YouTube or whatever. But, like, adult people out in the real world don't necessarily know what a simp is off the top of their head. You know what I mean? We're not all e-girls and thoughts out here trying to get your money. The woman probably was just like, holy shit, $100 tip, great. I don't care if that dude wants to fuck me. That's $100 I can spend on groceries. Is it gonna help him get laid? No. But is it gonna hurt that woman to get the extra $100? No, I'm sure she's fine with it.
Yeah. And that's what a simp is. A simp is a guy who shells out money, disproportionate amounts of money, to some woman in order to curry favor with her. That's what a simp is. Never be a simp. Never be like Ethan. Never be a simp. Yeah, because like in this case, this specific case, yeah?
Why does he have this ADD where he feels the need to change the camera angle every 5 minutes? Now, I'm not saying don't have production value in your videos. That's great. In fact, if I had the ability to do so, I would probably change camera angles occasionally just to mix things up, or for, in the case of a video, editing purposes. For those of you who don't know, who don't make or edit videos for a living, if there's a cut between camera angles, it's probably, not always, probably, at least in internet video language, because someone fucked up and they had to redo something. That cut from camera angle to camera angle is often to hide the transition between when they were doing fine, that middle period that they cut out where someone fucked up, and the next part. But this is just one guy sitting in front of a camera. There isn't really a lot of room for fuck-ups or just, like, outtakes. So, why the constant camera angle switches? And I also don't like this camera angle, because it looks like it's a webcam angle, and I'm afraid he's gonna pull his dick out like it's chat roulette circa 2009.
The bartender, this girl there, she didn't give Ethan the time of day after that. I mean, she was hanging around. I mean, she didn't, like, run off, No, she was, like, hanging around. She was shooting the breeze. I mean, her shift had ended, and there was a new bartender. But she stayed and talked to us, but she didn't give him any kind of priority. On the contrary, of course, she didn't want to seem like a whore or something like that, or some gold digger. So she gave Ethan even less attention than she ordinarily would have. Of course, yeah. And even if there'd been nobody else around, even if she hadn't cared as if she were coming across as a gold digger, she realized, like all women realize, that when a guy gives them money, she can do whatever she wants with the guy. The guy's a simp. He's a loser. He's a guy who thinks that with money, he can get a woman's attention. The
See,
only girl
this is interesting to me because people like Coach Red Pill often have a very negative view of women in the sense that they will act like all women are gold diggers and looking to move up socially by the partner that they choose. You can find this in incel communities. Often they'll either talk about like chads, or which is like a physical thing where they're like, oh, they're a sexy man, or they'll talk about like women trying to get with men of higher status for social climbing reasons. Now, this flies directly in the face kind of what he's saying right now, because he's saying women will automatically not want to engage with the guy at all, specifically because of the money. So are women whores who want money, or are they people who are embarrassed when men try and give them money? Now, I don't think either is true. I think people are more complicated than that, and the individual is going to vary a lot on this kind of thing. For instance, I've been watching a lot of 90 Day Fiancé with my girlfriend, because we've been kind of inside for the duration of the lockdown and everything. But those people, for instance, are in very transactional relationships. Now, I don't have a problem with people having a transactional relationship as long as, like, both parties are in on it and, like, they agree to it. Adults can consent to any kind of relationship they want, really, as long as it's not inherently harmful to other people. But a lot of people don't do that. For instance, my girlfriend and I try and split, like, responsibilities. Obviously, we're a pretty non-traditional couple. She's a cis woman. I'm a trans woman. But, like, regardless if that were the case, let's pretend I'm, like, a cis man. Still, I think a lot of people our age tend to want to share responsibility and be partners, not subservient and person with the money. So I don't know.
girls who care about simps and who cultivate them, of course, are gold diggers. Gold diggers and e-thoughts, right? Every other sensible guy realizes what's going on. Every sensible woman realizes what's going on. And most women will want nothing to do with a simp. Yeah, that's the long and short of it, see? Most women, I'm talking 95% of women, are not gold diggers. Yes, of course, there are the 5% who are gold diggers, but 95%, they are not, and they do not want to be identified as such. And if so if some simp gives them money, what the fuck you think they're gonna do? They're gonna ignore him. Of course. They don't want to come across as a gold digger, right? So they're gonna blow him off. And you know, the weird thing about simps is that a lot of times they commiserate with one another. Oh yeah. You check out, like in some chat room of some e-thought, right? Where the simps are throwing super chats, $100 super chats or whatnot to some e-thought, right? And they chat to one another.
I'll have you know, I think Jake once received $1,000 super chat to eat some specific weird thing. So this isn't entirely confined to, like, e-girls. People spend weird money on the internet for very strange reasons. I'm just pointing that out. I'm not saying those people out there who are desperate and are giving money to e-girls don't exist. Oh, no, they're fucking out there. But, I don't know. It is a thing people do. People are strange.
Another, these simps. They're throwing money at some girl, trying to get her attention by way of the money that they're throwing
Dr.
her
Pepper
way.
Beans. That's what Jake
commiserate
ate.
with one another.
I'd eat just about anything for $1,000. That's a fact.
They become friends. Yeah. Oh God. Oh God.
Oh, I'm so annoyed at this point by his like. There are reasons in, like, a movie or a TV show to start the audio for the next cut prior to cutting the video. In a vlog-style video, it's just off-putting to me. Stop it. It's not stylistic. It doesn't make you look like a good editor. It just makes me think, why did you do that edit? That was clearly an intentional choice. You've done it multiple times now. Why is this something you want to do? What are you trying to convey with that edit? Nothing? You just think it's cool? I guess that's fine. It's distracting as fuck, though.
Oh God, that's just, the cringe, man, is off the fucking charts. But, well, you know, You see all kinds of shit online, yeah? And that's, I have to admit, one of the interesting things I've noticed about the online world, that there are these guys who are like that, who are simps, right? You never want to be like that because, first of all, it's just humiliating and pathetic. And second of all, no girl worth your time, worth your while, is ever going to be impressed by the money you throw her way. Only gold diggers. I did a video about gold diggers a couple of years.
Yeah, that's a good question. In the chat, Keepers of the Art says, "Can women be simps? I throw money at streamers." That's a good question. Also, where does Coach Red Pill draw the line between genuinely supporting a creator you enjoy and simping? Like, does he think anyone who gives money to anyone is a simp? Is it specifically when a male gives money to a female online? Is it specifically for the purpose of sexual gratification? Or, like, would he just consider someone be like, oh, I really love this streamer? Is that a simp?
Years ago, almost 3 years ago now. You can find it right here. And see, gold diggers, yeah, they are just brilliant at manipulating guys into giving up all kinds of cash, yeah? But they don't care about the guy. No, he's just a means to an end. They don't care about the guy at all. They just want his cash. Same with e-thoughts. And simps, well, the fact of the matter is...
I find the idea of e-thoughts kind of funny, too, as a disparaging term, because, as far as I'm concerned, that's a perfectly legitimate line of work. There are people who stream and take advantage of the fact that they are attractive to garner viewers, and they will wear outfits that are somewhat revealing. That's fine. What's wrong with that? It's their right to do so, and if people want to spend money on that, just like they spend money on something like Pornhub Premium, who cares? It's completely valid for people to do any form of sex work, even if it's very light sex work in the sense that you're just titillating. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares?
If you realize you're a simp, you have to ask yourself, why are you a simp? Why are you a simp in the sense of, like, why are you throwing money at some girl who's completely indifferent to you? Why are you doing this? And the fact of the matter is, a lot of guys do this. Sometimes it's not so blatant as Ethan, for instance, but they do it. They do it all the time. They spend a lot of money on some date, taking some girl to an expensive restaurant and whatnot. And the more money you throw at a girl, the less she's going to pay attention to you.
Okay, now he's getting into the territory where I'm questioning what the fuck he's talking about. Not that he wasn't already there, but I'm just saying, like, even more so. Okay, sometimes you want to take a date out to a nice restaurant because you want to have a good time in a nice restaurant. Why are you assuming everyone who goes to a nice restaurant is specifically pathetic because of this act? That's ridiculous. Where do you take all your dates to McDonald's? Like, what? And I understand he's saying, like, but people go to nice restaurants. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not simping. It's a date.
The more she's going to look at you as, you know, just a sugar daddy or something, but not even a sugar daddy, you see? Because a sugar daddy relationship, there is a clear component of, like, I'll treat you right and take you to expensive places and we'll have a good time and you fuck me, okay? It's essentially prostitution. I don't have a problem with prostitution, but see, a simp, well, a girl doesn't want to feel like she's a prostitute. And so the more money the guy throws her way, not just in cash direct, but like in expensive trips or restaurants or whatnot, she's gonna feel more and more like a prostitute and she's not gonna like that feeling. She's going to enjoy going to the expensive restaurant, of course, because, I mean, who doesn't, right? But she's not going to like the way that she is made to feel because of it. Look, this is very different than, say, you're dating some girl, right? And you're in college or whatnot, or you're just starting out in your career or whatever, and you don't have much money, but you splurge one time. Okay, this girl's going to...
All right, I'm over this video. I'm going to find a different one to watch. I think we've covered the simping. Who cares? There's always people who are going to try and throw money at people, blah, blah, blah. You know what I feel like? I feel like some bad media takes. The quartering for all your bad media take needs. Let's see. Oh god, so many people are upset about The Last of Us 2. I don't give a fuck. Oh, what are we gonna... Marvel hits Marvel hits a before thought. Impossible new low. I could do a Marvel one. Yeah, let's... Well... Oh, I saw Sarah arguing with someone over this one earlier. That might be fun. Ooh, Bill and Ted 3. I like me some Bill and Ted 3. I'm excited for Bill and Ted 3. I love the Bill and Ted movies. I think they're fantastic. They're hilarious. And frankly, I think Alex Winter was fucking robbed. I don't know why he didn't have much of a career after this. Maybe because of that movie Freaked? I don't know.
Looks like Bill and Ted's getting woke. I can't wait. Now, there's been a flurry of Bill and Ted news flying out over the...
Can we just take a moment to... I wish it was 1,000 years in the future, and I owned a museum of awful, cringy stuff from the early 21st century, and in it, the centerpiece will be the meme war veteran hat.
Past 48 hours. Some of it good, some of it not good, and some of it predictably bad. Now, interestingly enough, there's actually a lot of information and a lot of
Oh god, I just noticed the meme war veteran hat. The thing right here is the... Jeremy, no. Don't do this.
how do you say, spice going on around this film, including who even owns it. According to Digital Spy, Bill and Ted has sparked a big battle in Hollywood, and here's why. Most terrible. That you shouldn't make promises you can't keep is a lesson drilled into all of us at a young age. But clearly that escaped the folks over at MGM. The entertainment company has landed itself in hot water over a contract agreement. TV networks...
Oh, the volume's low? Try and up that somewhat.
It had exclusive license to tons of MGM content, titles that shouldn't have been available anywhere else. But when Starz employees spotted a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was also available to stream on Amazon, it appeared to them that MGM had disregarded the settlement. Starz had initially listed 25 films that had fallen foul of the contract terms, but MGM then increased that figure, admitting 136 movies and 108 TV episodes. Starz, unsatisfied, did some more digging to discover a further 100 more films that were in breach of contract. So I don't know if we're going to see...
Raise the volume still? Hold on. Dun, dun, dun. Audio output capture. Raise that.
Bill and Ted removed
Hopefully that helps a little bit.
Your favorite streaming platforms. I mean, at a time like this, with everything going on out there in the world, we need Bill and Ted. So I hope that they get this handled. But more importantly, look at the new Bill and Ted film. They've gender swapped the kids, because why wouldn't they?
Okay, so what the quartering is going to be talking about here, it seems, is the fact that at the end of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, the sequel to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which, frankly, I think Bogus Journey is just as good as the first movie. A lot of people don't like it as much, but I think it's fun. I like Death. I like Station. I like the robot stuff. But what he's talking about is at the end of that movie, Bill and Ted and the princesses, who are their wives, travel through time, spend a year at a guitar rock and roll camp, basically, to learn how to be rock stars, and they come back with babies, little Bill and little Ted. So the kids, canonically, at least as far as the first two films are concerned, is they have 2 sons at the end of that. Now, in this movie, the upcoming Bill and Ted Face the Music, their children are daughters. Who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares? I don't know how to put it more succinctly than that. Doesn't matter. The screenplay that got approved had 2 daughters. Now they have daughters. They'll probably have some stupid throwaway line, or they could have older brothers. By the ages of these kids, it seems to me that they could have been born a lot later than the ones in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. No one said it has to be their only kids. On top of that, again, let me reiterate, who the fuck cares what the gender of the kids are in the Bill and Ted trilogy? Who cares? Jeremy.
Bill and Ted, 3 daughters, won't be as clueless as their dads, says.
Yeah, someone says, I can't sub or gift sub. Yeah, I'm not even an affiliate yet. I'm gonna have to start doing this, like, regularly for that to happen. But in the meantime, I do have my transition fund below the video, if you want to support me in some way.
Samara Weaving. Now, if I remember right, the kids were called Little Bill and Little Ted, if I remember right. Now, if they go by Bill and Ted, apparently in this film, maybe? I don't know. The Bill and Ted franchise is right up there with Back to the Future as iconic sci-fi series that you can enjoy with the entire family. The good-natured and over-optimistic leads, played by Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter, will be making a comeback to the big screen soon with Bill and Ted Face the Music. Samara Weaving, who plays the role of the daughter of Bill, opposite Bridget Lund Payne as Ted's daughter, recently explained how the 2 daughters compare to their dads. Well, of course they're going to be smarter than their stupid dads. Obviously, men dumb. Quote.
No. The trope of the dumb parents and the smarter kids who have to deal with their thing is like a well-worn trope. Look at the Goofy movie, for instance. No one's like, oh... It would be like if Jeremy was like, oh, of course, in the Goofy movie, Max thinks his father Goofy is an idiot. He's a man. Wait, what? It doesn't make sense. It's a trope that you have kids who are smarter than their parents or recognize their parents are dumb. That's a thing in media. It isn't necessarily gender specific. Bill and Ted, within their own movies, because this is the point of the movies, is that they're not the smartest in terms of book smarts, but they're caring, good people nonetheless, who, through their goodness and friendship, are able to overcome a lot of shit. And in fact, their sort of dopey, simple view of the world helps bring the world together through their music. They're, like, artfully talented, not necessarily analytically talented. That's fine. So within the context of a Bill and Ted movie where they have kids who are adults, it makes sense for the kids to think their parents are kind of dumb and losers. It seems to me that's going to be kind of the thing of this movie, is figuring out why the, like, prophecy as foretold in, like, the first movie, that they're going to create this rock stardom that's going to bring the world together, why that didn't come to fruition. And it seems like they're retconning basically the end of Bill and Ted 2, which is fine. I don't care. It's Bill and Ted. This is not the movie series to get all up your ass about continuity. It doesn't matter.
I will say that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. They're slightly more clued in than their fathers. They can join the dots a little quicker. They are unaware of that. But they are unaware of that. They still have that childlike view of the world. They're unaware if you told them about something bad, they'd be very, very upset. They're just as obsessed with the music as their dads. That's really their entire world. For fans of the iconic series, Bill and Ted will forever be the perennial teens rocking out together, whether it's on stage or with their band, or across their time-traveling adventures aboard their Doctor Who-esque phone booth time machine. However, the new movie takes place decades after the last one. Bill and Ted have settled down to a life of domestic bliss. From their from Weaving's account, their daughters are prepared to follow in their footsteps with a little more wits about them. I remember, I believe, in Bill and Ted 2, their baby sons were Little Bill and Little Ted. Am I not remembering that right? And now again, is this a big deal? Not to me.
Yeah, Jeremy, you made a 11.5-minute video about this. You clearly care. Or, at the very least, if you're saying you don't care, then you're conceding to the fact that your entire channel is a right-wing grift to seize upon this weird right-wing incel angst about women being in movies, and you're taking advantage of that to make money. If you want to just be honest about that, that's fine. Far be it from me to stop you from that. But it seems that you're like, I don't care, but you do care. You're making an 11.5-minute video about it. You don't get to disavow caring about the issue when you're clearly caring enough to make a video.
Probably not going to see the movie. Because I know that Hollywood has made this a deliberate choice to make them women, if they were in fact sons in the second one. If I'm wrong about that, or if there's some lore, maybe their sons exist and these daughters aren't the ones from Bill and Ted 2, okay, maybe.
Why okay maybe? Why not just okay? Like, parents... And in fact, the average in America is more than one child. Most people aren't only kids. So it would make sense for them to have both a son and a daughter. Enough time has passed.
I'm willing to listen if there's some sort of lore reason for it, but if it's just for my diversity quota, then I'm not going to see this movie. And
Diversity quota? You got every character on screen has to have a penis! Otherwise, it's a diversity quota.
Love you, Keanu, but no, I'm sure this wasn't Keanu's decision, although who knows? Although details of the upcoming film are scarce, a brief synopsis regarding the story was released about last year.
The funny thing is, Keanu Reeves would absolutely fucking hate The Quartering. Keanu Reeves, and I'm not talking about the meme here. I'm not here for the "you're breathtaking" CD Projekt Red shit. Keanu Reeves is a nice guy. And he's a fairly liberal guy. I don't mean liberal. He's a fairly progressive guy. In fact, he's actually had a trans girlfriend at one point. Like, he would not think The Quartering's, like, oh, I'm mad women are on screen shtick. He wouldn't find that funny. He wouldn't find it worthwhile.
Following 1989's Bill and Ted Excellent Avenger, in 1991, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, the stakes are higher than ever for William Bill S. Preston Esquire and Theodore Ted Logan. Yet to fulfill their rock and roll destiny, the now middle-aged best friends set out on a new adventure when a visitor from the future warns them that their song can save life as we know it and bring harmony to the universe. Along the way, they will be helped by their families, old friends, and a few music legends. Now, I don't know if Bill and Ted will hold up. I mean, I love Keanu, but Keanu is superseded playing the, like, whoa, or like, bleh, I'm Keanu Dracula. Like, he's...
Keanu Reeves did not play Dracula in Bram Stoker's Dracula. He played Renfield, I think. I didn't even see the movie, and I know Gary Oldman was Dracula. The Quartering clearly hasn't seen the movie, but he felt the need to comment on it. Now, I haven't seen it either, but I'm just responding to what he said. What do you mean, blah? He's not Dracula in that movie. Jesus.
Actually a decent actor now.
Oh, Jonathan Harker. Apologies.
And I don't know if I care to see him in another Bill and Ted film, especially after so many classics from the 80s and 90s have just been completely destroyed. And part of that is because these film franchises just don't hold up anymore. And part of it is because you have directors that say, well, we can't have these two toxic men. We've got to have...
No! Directors are not saying men are inherently toxic just because they want women to also be represented in their films. What are you talking about, Jeremy?
Their sons got to be daughters, and they've got to be smart. They can't be stupid like them.
Again, this is a common trope in media. The dumb parent, smart kids. It's like in any comedy bit, you have your person who's making the jokes, and you have your straight man. It's common in movies like this to have dumb parent and the smarter kid to be the straight person to react off of the comedy. Comedy is action, reaction. You can't just...
So fans can expect more of a radtastic music and wacky humor like the original movies, even if Bill and Ted have gotten on in the years and are faced with the doldrums of middle age. Hopefully fans will love the addition of their new characters to the series in the shape of their daughters once they get over the strangeness of seeing Bill and Ted as suburban dads. Again, Bill and Ted had sons. I mean, am I going to get all worked up about the deep lore of Bill and Ted?
You are!
I
That's
mean,
what we're doing!
I mean, I
Oh, hello. Here is Baja Blast and a kitty.
To calm you down.
I am calm.
Are you calm?
I'm calm!
Okay.
How was the store?
Good. Busy, unfortunately.
Uh,
This is Kiki, everybody.
I'm watching Jeremy get mad that there are women in Bill and Ted 3.
Oh no, women?
Yeah.
We can't have that.
No.
Women aren't allowed to do anything.
No.
I guess I sort of am.
Kiki wants
I just does canon not matter anymore? Does lore not matter anymore? Didn't we just see that Star Wars person basically say, "Oh well, none of this exists and none of it matters"? A third Bill and Ted has long been demanded by the fans after Keanu shot back into the
Aw.
limelight with the John Wick series. Producers finally decided to greenlight the new Bill and Ted feature with Winter and Reeves reprising their roles. The creators of the franchise have spoken about doing justice to the spirit of the original movie while making the latest installment in the series relevant to our time. Relevant to our time. That to me seems like woke speak. I mean,
Oh no. Woke speak. Are you concerned about the fact that Bill and Ted will have too many vaginas in it?
You know, I quite enjoy the vagina.
I'm aware.
No, I'm not worried at all.
Okay, that's good. Jeremy's very concerned. Do you like his meme war veteran hat?
No.
Why not?
While I don't like war in the military, I don't think it's right to, kind of, make
How
fun of
dare
that.
you respect the people who fought in the meme war? Many Pepes died to bring us this information.
you have this again. You have a new age Star Wars writer. Star Wars story group writer claims
He looks like he's never
canon
seen a
is
vagina.
Oh,
all fake anyway.
Is Jeremy gonna be mad that a writer says canon is all fake anyway? Because fictional canon is all fake anyway. Literally anything you write in canon can be undone by someone else. See the newest season of Doctor Who for a good example of that. But the point is, yeah, you can kind of overwrite anything to tell the story you want to tell. That's inherent in all fiction, Jeremy.
No kidding. First of all, we all know movies are fake, but
Do you though? Do ya?
this is like the perfect quote for exactly why all these new reboot
I love the
franchises
kitties
suck.
too. I wish they were my
It's
kitties.
because
They're
they don't
Hannah's
pay
roommate's
or
cats.
care anything about original canon. According to Star Wars story group writer Matt Martin, fans should just relax, since it really doesn't matter. Martin found himself on social media trying to articulate his feeling about the
Yes, I agree with this. Fans should just relax. It doesn't matter. It's great to enjoy movies and stuff. You know how much I like movies and TV shows and I talk about their canon and shit. I know way more information about, like, fictional universes than the real universe. I've wasted my life accruing knowledge that will never be useful. But at the end of the day, it's just, like, fun. Who the fuck cares if your intimate knowledge of the pre-Republic era of Star Wars doesn't come to fruition on the big screen? Who the fuck cares? Because someday they might make a movie about that anyway? It doesn't matter. Who cares? Calm down.
process and came to the conclusion that fans can do whatever they like with the source material. This seems to be a logical idea for a longtime fan who feels they've been ignored. You can read what Martin originally had to say below. Quote, What is and isn't canon informs how future stories may be told, but it doesn't need to dictate how individual fans enjoy their own personal Star Wars story. So in the example earlier, the person
Like what?
I got your Hot Pockets.
What kind?
I don't know. There are multiple kinds.
Um,
There's a ham and cheese one.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
was asking about recanonizing a past story since that specific story hasn't been explored in new canon. And I said, if they like the story, there's no reason they can't accept it as, quote, real in their vision of Star Wars. But there was an opportunity to tell the story now that new creator would not be beholden to the old version of the story. Essentially saying canon doesn't matter.
Canon doesn't matter. It has never mattered. It's great. It's fun. You need a canon to keep your story together. But any story that can be served by destroying canon can exist.
So to summarize,
There's also a 4-cheese pizza one. If you would like to change your answer.
4-cheese pizza Hot Pocket.
It has a buttery garlic crust.
Buttery garlic. Yes, please. This is not an ad for Hot Pockets.
there is a reason that we need to internally know what is and isn't canon so we can keep line of official storytelling as aligned as possible. But that doesn't mean fans can't individually pick and choose what they want to accept as true. Up until this point, fine. He goes on to say, it's all fake anyway, so you can choose to accept whatever you want as part of the story.
Yes, that is how all fiction has always worked in terms of world building. You can choose to have headcanon, you can choose to not, and go by what the official canon of the owners of the property are. It doesn't matter. It's all fake. And if you're mad about that, I don't know what to tell you, because that's just reality. Fictional universes do not exist out there somewhere in the ether. None of it really happened, so trying to categorize what happened from what didn't really happen in canon is just a way to try and keep the world consistent in terms of storytelling for future stories. And that's all up for changing if the story you want to tell now is different and would work better with different canon. That's always how stories have worked. Retcons have been a thing in the comics for a really long time for a reason. When you're telling long stories that go back decades and decades and decades, and we're starting to see this in film and TV because of the nature of streaming services and interconnected TV movie universes like the MCU, like Star Wars, stuff like that. When you have a canon that expansive, yeah, retcons are gonna happen because you can't keep a fictional universe entirely internally consistent all the time. Unless you're like J.R.R. Tolkien. But that guy was crazy, so.
Saying, quote, it's all fake anyway, isn't really what a Star Wars fan wants to hear, and is far from something a person like David Filoni would say. But Matt Martin isn't...
Oh, Sarah says they have a D&D starting, so have fun. Thank you, Sarah. I didn't know you were here. Thanks for showing up.
trying to put anyone down.
Enjoy your
He's
D&D.
just saying to say that fans can enjoy all of it and pick and choose what they like and don't like. It's not the end of the world. These stories are here for entertainment purposes, and Martin is here to help make everything work together smoothly. Now, this type of statement doesn't really put me off so badly when you see all the context around it. What gets printed in the headlines is, it's all fake anyway. And so people get mad about that. But ultimately, there are some concerning things in this quote where they talk about, where he's basically like, well, none of it matters. I mean, if you don't respect canon, yes, there's a group of normie Star Wars fans that you might even include myself in that aren't as obsessed with canon as other people are. But there are large chunks of Star Wars fans. Star Wars in particular is probably the most prevalent film for this. There are Star Wars fans that are very concerned about canon. And
So what? Disney is not obligated to cater to people like that. And I'm one of those people. I know tons of canon. Not necessarily Star Wars. I'm more Star Trek, Doctor Who canon person. But I don't feel it's their obligation, the owners of those properties, to cater to me and my weird fanaticism about their property specifically. It's fine. I just want good stories. Thank you.
Of course.
They don't like hearing some writer say, none of it matters. You do whatever you want. Because that's exactly what people feel like Disney's been doing with Star Wars for years anyway. Nonetheless, are you interested in seeing
What?
Do you mind if I come sit in here?
Oh, go ahead.
Bill and Ted 3? How woke will it be? Is this just the end of it? Is it just having their sons be daughters and that'll be the end of it and it'll be great? Or do you foresee more interesting changes coming down the line? I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you.
I didn't. Let's maybe do one more Jeremy video, and then I kind of want to look at some of this transvestigation stuff. For those of you who don't know, transvestigation is a thing where crazy people, potentially with, like, mental issues, go online and they obsessively try and look for clues that certain celebrities are secretly trans women, even though the women they pick are always cis women. I don't know why they feel the need to do this, but I wanted to look at some of that crazy stuff a little bit later. Let's see what else we can look at from Jeremy, though. We did the Bill and Ted. That one might be okay. The Batman one. Marvel drops woke comics. Yeah, sure. Oh, Elon Musk and his gigantic space balls reopens Tesla. Oh no, is Jeremy going to defend Elon Musk's awful decisions?
What's
Let's
going
see.
on?
If so, we'll watch this. If he agrees with me, I don't care, and I'm just going to ignore it. But if he disagrees with me, we're going to fucking talk about Elon Musk.
Everyone, Jeremy here from the Quartering, and a little different topic, trying to mix it up. What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Quartering, and a little bit of a different topic. Trying to mix it up a little bit here. This might normally go on Midwestly, but I don't know. Maybe just the news topics I'm interested in, maybe they can just fit on this channel. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below. And also, I will be live streaming at 7 p.m. Central, which will be 2 hours after this video goes live. We've got a lot to catch up with all of you. I've missed you. We haven't...
What's my opinion on Marvel's new character designs? I haven't seen them. Let me look. Oh, are you guys talking about the, I thought you meant new designs of old characters. Is this? Or were you talking about the new Warriors, which are hilarious? Have you heard about the new Warriors thing?
No.
These are new Marvel characters. This one is named Snowflake, and this one is named Safe Space. And they are...
See, with how the costumes are designed, right? Snowflake has a snowflake. I was thinking that the pink one would be pink balls, since it has pink balls.
No, although he certainly, or they certainly have pink balls. They are non-binary. The fact that Marvel's first non-binary superheroes are called, like, Snowflake and Safe Space makes me want to blow my fucking brains out.
Please don't. That'd be a mess.
You don't have to clean it up. It's fine.
We haven't hung out in a long time, so hopefully I'll see you there. Now, Elon Musk, many times has gotten himself into the crosshairs of mainstream media, whether it's the things he says about people who want to rescue soccer teams out of caves, or it's something he says about how the mainstream media has a ton of power, or if he's talking about his Tesla cars, or he's talking about SpaceX. Look, I like Elon.
I don't like Elon, for those of you who are not aware. All one of you who doesn't know I don't like Elon Musk. I hate Elon Musk. Specifically because he's a billionaire, rich asshole. His family made profit off of apartheid South Africa with their emerald mine. He does incredibly morally questionable things with his business, including it and up to, as you've seen recently, him reopening the factory in Fremont despite the fact that the county ordered them closed and he is now suing them over it. It's disgusting.
Like almost everything about Elon, I am biased. My wife is a Tesla owner. I will never drive an electric car by choice, but she does. She likes it, and therefore I like it. I respect everything he's done to advance the space program when NASA hasn't had the type of funding it's needed to, or the competition that's required. You know, when you
The idea that competition is required for NASA to do stuff is hilarious, considering we went to the moon in 1969 entirely off the back of government engineers. Like, Elon Musk is not the one designing rockets for SpaceX. He straight up isn't. He's an asshole rich kid who decided it'd be fun to put money into rocketry, which the government should be doing, not a private industry, so he could set up a little weird feudalist empire on Mars. He claims the Mars colony would be ruled by direct democracy. Anyone who believes that coming out of Elon Musk's mouth is an idiot. Elon Musk would be a space dictator.
Oh, yeah. I'm just wondering why... I don't know. He's very not self-aware.
Yeah.
have everything government funded, shockingly,
And I
for
can't believe
some
the
people
name
out
he gave
there,
his child.
you get the least effort. I mean, I know that's probably shocking, not to my viewers, but to anybody who might come across the channel. And by the way, nearly 50% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. I hope that all the coverage I've been providing during everybody being stuck at home means today I'll earn your subscription by clicking that subscribe button right below the video. Now, Elon made headlines just a few days ago again with some very interesting news. Now, this is all coming on the breaking news, by the way, just a few moments ago, that LA County is extending the stay-at-home order nearly 3 more months.
Yeah, the disease doesn't get bored. The disease does not care that you've been at home for months already. It doesn't decide, oh, I want to go outside. That's not how it works. It doesn't care. Viruses are indifferent to the fact that you want to leave your house.
Into July.
There were too many people at Myers.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is crazy. Los Angeles County, you know, is probably the hardest hit in that area, but 3 more
Describe your
months.
Hot Pocket in 3 words.
You're talking about a just a
Describe
single,
my Hot Pocket in 3 words.
Yeah.
Cheesy, saucy, sexy.
I'll describe it as well. It was on sale. 3 for $2 or something like that. That's why I got
County,
them
there's
for her.
10 million residents. 200 with 10 million
Coke
residents.
Zero was also still on sale.
Nice.
I don't know where all the money is going to come to keep everybody going, but you know, I don't want to go down that road. I know a lot of my viewers are still very concerned about it, and I think that the sickness is something that should be respected, but obviously, you know, my opinion is that you should treat these things with a tactical approach rather than blanket decisions and shutting down everything.
Closing down is a tactical approach, Jeremy. What do you mean by tactical approach? You want to flank the virus? Closing down and having stay-at-home orders is tactical. I assume Jeremy just doesn't give a fuck. He's one of those people who doesn't care because he doesn't think he'll be affected. But at least have a better cover than that, Jeremy. Jesus.
Which is exactly what Elon Musk
Sorry, somebody asked who I was. I'm Hannah's girlfriend. Baja Blast. Or Morgan, whichever one you prefer.
has challenged with his spaceship-sized balls. He has now challenged California to arrest him. Elon Musk has not been arrested as production continues at
He should be.
Tesla without California County's permission. Elon Musk remained a free man on Tuesday afternoon despite violating shelter-in-place orders by reopening Tesla's Fremont, California factory without permission from Alameda County, where the factory is located. Musk tweeted Monday that production had restarted and, quote, I will be on the line with everyone else.
He says he's on the line with everyone else, according to an anonymous Tesla source They said he's never on the line. He's never helping out. He stays in an office, and then every once in a while will come out and look over things, even though he has no idea what's going on, and then he will go back in.
If anyone is arrested, I ask it only be me. The county health department said Monday that Tesla had gone beyond the minimum allowed operations, which Musk had up to potential misdemeanor charge and either 90 days locked up or a $1,000 per day fine. However, the Fremont PD, which would be the agency to enforce this, told KGO News it had no intention of arresting Elon Musk.
Then what are you fucking doing? I'm so sick of billionaires getting away with shit. It's so ridiculous.
Musk received Twitter encouragement on Tuesday from President Trump. Oh, I'm sure that everyone loved this. Who tweeted, California should let Tesla and Elon Musk open the plant now. It can be done fast and safely. Look, I have no problem with at-risk people getting special treatment. That includes elderly or people with pre-existing conditions. You know, let them have unemployment for as long as is needed until we can get things under control. The fact of the matter is...
Okay, but we're not going to get things under control if everyone's going back to working and acting like nothing has happened. You can't do that.
There's a large portion of this country that carries almost no risk or very little risk at all, and the bigger risk to them is going broke and getting kicked out of their houses. They need to be able to go back to work.
Or you could actually advocate for social policy that puts individuals over businesses. That way you don't spend trillions of dollars propping up businesses that can't survive like a month without being open, and instead actually give money to the individuals that comprise this country to try and help them in this time of financial need. That was a gross Hot Pocket burp.
I was expecting better of you. You
Oh.
could have been louder.
Okay, I'll try better next time.
Thank you.
Elon senses this. Make no mistake about it, Elon's competition isn't getting the same kind of criticism. Musk thanked Trump and responded to a follower who chided him for agreeing with the president, saying, those who always disagree have a closed mind, but by their very nature, that won't sink in. Sigh. Again, you see somebody, you just agree with Donald Trump, let that sink in. Oh, drum. And as somebody who follows...
Yeah, Trump's an idiot, so generally agreeing with him is a pretty stupid thing.
A lot of what Elon does. You should see the Tesla subreddit. There are a lot of Elon haters in there, but love the car. There's a lot of Orange Man bad going on in there all the time, too.
Orange Man is bad, unironically.
Musk thanked Trump. The factory is free to reopen under California law, but Governor Gavin Newsom has allowed local authorities to supersede the state within their own rules. The Alameda County Public Health Department said Monday it was in communication with Tesla, but not had yet approved a return-to-work plan. Tesla had sued the county in an effort to remove the restrictions. Not everyone at Tesla is happy about being at work. However, one employee voiced his concern, saying that the guidelines in place seemed inefficient, while another told WGO on Tuesday that she's concerned for her safety and that it's hard to social distance on her job on an assembly line. Quote, do you care about the people around you? The woman identified herself as Tina, rhetorically asked Musk. You just want them, employees, to go, 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 as if it's, in a sense, we're just robots to him. If one breaks, I can get a new me or fix them. Well, I mean, what's wrong? I mean, sure, again.
Was Jeremy about to say what's wrong with treating human beings like machinery? The fact that they're human beings, Jeremy. I think he caught himself there, though, because he stopped.
I think if you're so scared or you're at risk, there should be options for you to stay home. Do I agree with people getting many thousands of dollars a month in I'm staying home money? Of course not.
Why? It's in the public interest to keep people inside. This is what taxes should be for.
But if you have legitimate concerns, then I think you should handle them on a case-by-case basis. You see The Verge covering this. Elon Musk defies the order and asks to be arrested. Tesla is reopening in California car factory against Alameda County. Now, the interesting thing is, Tesla started making cars over the weekend, as The Verge reported earlier on Monday, and told all of the employees that it had placed on furlough to get ready to get back to work. Those employees have been
I'm in
told
the
they
dark.
can stay
I have no
home
idea
if
what
they
he's
feel
saying.
uncomfortable. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, no. Jeremy's about to tout this Tesla company line that if people feel uncomfortable, they don't have to come back to work. Bull fucking shit. Anyone who refuses to come back to work because they're concerned for their safety is going to be fired immediately. And if you don't think that's the case, you are a fucking idiot. Well, Tesla specifically even said those who... They sent out an email. I read this on the Real Tesla subreddit, which is a subreddit that's critical of Elon and Tesla in general. Basically sent an email out saying, hey, feel free to stay home, but we're going to be sending a thing to the state that says we're back in business, so they're going to stop your unemployment. Yeah. They literally did that.
No.
So, no. If you are a worker at Tesla, you are being given an ultimatum, even if it's an implied ultimatum. Get back to work or you're fired.
See, people aren't covering this. Look, if you're uncomfortable and you want to stay home, that's fine. And they say, but you have to take unpaid leave to do so. Also fine. That's what the stimulus package is for. Tesla cashed out many employees paid.
The stimulus package where everyone got $1,200, you think if they've already gotten it, they haven't already spent that on their rent or mortgage?
Leave after extending the furlough last month. Other automakers like Ford and General Motors are scheduled to get their U.S. manufacturing picking up later this month. Some of those automakers wanted to open early but faced resistance from the United Auto Workers Union, which also represents their workforces. So let me be clear. GM and Ford are both going to reopen here in May.
Their factories are not in high population areas the same as Fremont, which is, I believe, in Silicon Valley. So there is different stuff going on for different areas because different areas have different population densities. In areas with higher population densities, you're going to see more stringent guidelines in terms of stay-at-home orders, in terms of mask protection, stuff like that. Because there are more people closer to each other.
Certainly. Alameda County finally responded Monday by saying that it expects Tesla to provide a site-specific plan later today for reopening the factory, and it look forward to reviewing Tesla's plan in agreement to protocol. Today, May 11th, we learned that Tesla factory in Fremont had reopened beyond minimum basic operations. We have notified Tesla that they can only maintain minimum basic operations until we have an approved plan. Bull. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole to folks.
God damn, Jeremy's got two of these globe things. Remember I showed you these globes that spin on the desk? These are like $300 globes. He's got two of them. Oh, he's got three of them. One of them's the moon. Shilling for the right and reactionary politics apparently pays well, yeah.
Because it's a time where people are scared. Some of that fear is warranted. Some of it is fanned and actively seeked out by mainstream media sources. And
let's see how many people have died so far. Live death count. Coronavirus. United States. Total. That's just this is just in Saginaw County, the county in which I live. 903 confirmed cases, 97 deaths. That's terrible.
Go to Genesee County where I'm
That's
from.
almost a 1 in 10 death rate.
Go to Genesee County, it's worse because people are poor in Genesee County and the hospitals suck.
Yeah, a little over 1 in 10 there.
Yep.
It's not being hysterical. That's a 1 in 10 chance of death. Do you understand, Jeremy? Do you understand?
Oh, also, Flint doesn't still have clean water. That's where I'm from. So they're in hospitals that don't have clean water.
Yeah.
some of it is reinforced by certain government officials who want to keep you in my opinion, reliant on them, which is why so many people are throwing out insane, absurd, like Kamala Harris, like, let's give everyone $2,000 a month. Let's give this person $1,000.
I believe Canada is underway doing that for their citizens already. It's not some crazy thing. At minimum, we should be canceling mortgage and rent for several months for people who are unemployed currently. It's not ridiculous. It's not fucking ridiculous to expect that the government do its job.
Up to $4,000 a month. Why not $5,000 a month? The reality is this plan is untenable. It cannot exist in a long-term scenario, and it will bankrupt the nation. That said, don't get triggered, doomers. I'm saying that I understand that it needs to be taken seriously, but what I want to see, especially in my own state, is a targeted approach to keeping people safe.
You can't have a targeted approach for a virus that spreads. Like, if any number of the population, if it's allowed to run rampant in, it negatively impacts every other person.
Not this shut it all down thing, because quite frankly, we don't know really how effective that is anyway if it's just delayed.
Yeah, Katrina Hood says people who prioritize the economy over human lives are going to cause the death of humanity. Not even just that. It's not even just that it's immoral. It's stupid. Because do they really think that hundreds of thousands of people dying of a disease isn't going to impact the economy negatively? It's not like it's some big brain, I'm going to sacrifice these people for the economy. It's being an idiot and thinking these people dying will somehow positively affect the economy.
They don't think long term, though. They think short term. What can make me money right now?
Yeah.
Delaying the inevitable. Maybe it's better. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, and neither are most of the people commenting on it, nor are the YouTubers.
Okay, doctors want things to be closed. How's that, Jeremy?
Mainstream media
So do
news
scientists.
have their angles.
Yeah.
I'm a scientist.
Does research on stuff. I don't know what you want me to say or not say.
I'm a fourth-year graduate student that does research in genetics.
There you go.
Too, because if you don't think that this is an angle that some news anchors are using to say Orange Man bad, then you're
Orange Man is bad. Unironically.
absurd. If you think that the president handled this perfectly, that's also absurd. But I like to kind of lay in the middle here with the regular rational people, and
Jeremy is a regular rational person. Did you know that?
understand that. I understand people are
Based
upset
on his
and
Twitter,
concerned.
he's not.
However, keeping everything shut down and printing money indefinitely is not a solution. If people are talking to you and saying, well, what about? If we open, someone might. Yes, this is true. Now let the adults talk.
Let the adults talk. The adults that want to kill hundreds of thousands of people so you can go to work and infect everyone you know and love. Much rational, Jeremy. Very logic.
Because the whole, if even one person is absurd. This is not how the world operates. This is not a reasonable solution. And these arguments break down very easily when applied to any other scenario. So what I want to see is more smart reopenings and more smart closings, not just this blanket shut it all down stuff. I mean, we've had several months now. Companies can prepare. We know more about things. We know how to keep clean, better.
People still refuse to wear masks for dumb reasons, Jeremy. You stupid bitch. What are you talking about?
There was a thing that said that men don't want to wear masks because they think it makes them look stupid or something, like a survey where that's why men said that they didn't like it.
Ego is like the single most fucking destructive force on this planet, and I hate it so much. Wear the fucking mask. Who cares?
I still don't know how Donald Trump nor Mike Pence have caught it yet.
Honestly, I would guarantee being in the position that they are in that they have had like antibody blood transfusions done on them. Do you think that's not true?
I don't know.
They're considered like two of the most powerful people on the planet. They can get
Why
that.
would they keep testing them then?
Were you in the room when they're getting tested? I don't know. Let's see. Maybe one more Jeremy thing. Or if anyone has any requests, please let me know. Anything you think is really awful?
Me?
Yeah, that I should do a thing on?
No.
Yeah, can we move on? Yeah. Let's do some transvestigation stuff, shall we?
No. Are you gonna make me rant?
I don't know. You're not gonna be able to hear it, so it's fine.
Okay, don't ever let me know whether or not they say the word chromosome.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know what transvestigation is, it's this incredibly niche part of the internet that feels the need to take time and, how do I put this, accuse cis women of being trans because for some reason these people think that there's a globalist conspiracy to push the transgender narrative and turn men into women, which is an awful plan, especially considering trans men also exist, so we would just wind up on opposite. It'd be like, we all swapped, but
Yeah.
either way. Oprah Winfrey transvestigation. Who do you think? Oprah Winfrey, Ariana Grande, I don't know who Sheena Easton. Oh, Julia Child, Bill Gates transvestigation.
Let's go with Oprah.
Okay. I'm gonna mute the music on this. I think this one's a video only. Yeah. This is in German or something. The rare video from Oprah Winfrey is not Oprah fake. I don't know anything about this, so I can't speak to... Wait, what? Are they saying this isn't the same person?
They're saying it's not Oprah.
Why? She's clearly wearing a bunch of makeup and she's all done up. Look, their head shapes are like exactly the same. Anyway.
Oh no. There's one... Oh god.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, but like, she has hips. Not that it would matter if she didn't, but this is a terrible example either way. Yep. Yeah, what about her? I like that they put this up there as if this speaks for itself somehow. Oh god. Full body resin impression of Oprah.
What?
I gotta get one with
Oh,
someone
no.
talking over it. I can't just look at
Oh,
videos.
no.
What about this one? Julia Child, famous television chef, probably popularized the idea of a TV chef in America. You're aware of Julia Child?
Yes.
Okay. Went to a French cooking school. "6'2". Did you know all women over 6'2" secretly have a penis?
You know, most people would say any woman over, like, I don't know, 5'6" has a penis.
What am I then? Because I am 5'6".
I don't know.
She knows.
I have a friend that's 5'10", and she is a cis woman, so.
Yeah.
Baby, open up to me. Don't give up so easily. Open up your
Oh, is this gonna be? We're supposed to see a penis or something?
Oh my god. Are they trying to say that, like, she's covering something up with that towel?
Maybe.
Like, that's just what you do. Like, you have an apron, and you, like, either stick a towel in it, or you stick it in your waistband, like,
Yeah.
fuck. Penis jump scare.
No, we have. There are other ways to make omelets besides the shaken one, like it's an omelet ménagère, which you put. And it takes a rather long time to do.
This is why I can't. I mean, there are many reasons I can't take transphobes seriously, but the fact that some people take their transphobia to such levels that they take the specific things they look at on trans women and objectify and say, no, that's a masculine feature, you're a man. They then overanalyze to the extent that they will apply those same guidelines to cis women and use that to determine that, in fact, cis women are trans.
It's almost like they could look at cis women and learn, hey, some cis women have masculine features or what have you, or features you would associate with a man. But they don't take that to mean, oh, you know, everybody can have whatever traits they're born with.
Yeah.
It's just they say, oh, no, everybody that has this trait has to be cis. It's like the TERFs.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what ones have higher views. Bill Gates is a woman. Belinda is a drag queen.
Somebody said that there's one for shoe on head.
I think she's already done hers, though. I don't...
Hi YouTube, welcome to the Transvestigation of Bill Gates.
Oh no, is this person like 15 years old?
Oh, God.
My name is Kevin, aka Deplorable Neezy. Yeah, they sound like 14 years old.
Fuck is in the, go up.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Oh, this is so it hits certain search terms.
Oh my God.
Anon, QAnon. Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one. Conspiracy, QAnon, QAnon book, QAnon. Oh.
So they just like copy and paste that for all their videos.
Yeah,
probably.
you're not supposed to do that on YouTube. You can get your video banned for doing that.
So I'm gonna try to make this video not so long as it usually is, so I'm just gonna jump into it. In FTM Transvestigations, we're looking at more so facial.
You know what? At least this person is doing female to male transvestigations. Too much focus on the trans women in the transvestigation community.
Yeah.
Let's find out why Bill Gates has a vagina, shall we?
Is he short? Is that what it's gonna be?
It's probably going to be a height argument.
structure, the spine, and one big tell is the hip to shoulder ratio as well. So what we're looking at here is the brow ridge of a female. This is a female brow ridge and a female forehead.
How about me? How's my brow ridge and forehead?
Very feminine.
Oh gee, thanks.
You can tell it's extremely flat. No man has this flat of a brow ridge. There is at least some bone structure there, and as we know, with hormone replacement therapy, doesn't exactly change the bone structure. If it does, it's extremely subtle
wish I could hear
and
this.
very minimal. And as we
You
know,
don't have
they
two
transition these
ports
people
for,
from birth, so
headphones, do
there
you?
might be some bone.
Let me look. No, I don't. I have a splitter somewhere. I don't know where it is though.
bone structure that is changed.
You could get your phone and plug headphones into that and listen with a little bit of a delay.
See, I have an iPhone though. We don't have headphone jack.
Oh god, this is what I'm saying, people. Stop buying iPhones. You got.
You dare besmirch the name of iPhone.
I will. I'm an Android user. We're a mixed phone household. How will it ever work?
But as we can see, as this person ages, you can see in this photo here how the chin comes to a point. It's a witch's chin. As you can see here with the-
Wait, are they using Bill Gates's strong chin as a signaler that he is a female at birth, despite the fact that I have seen the opposite on different transvestigation videos, where on a female at birth, they will say, oh, look at that strong chin, they're a man. It's like Schrodinger's chin. Whatever you need the chin to be in that argument.
labiomandibular fold, which is that is the crease that you see here where the
There are
point
two
begins
things that
in the
Hannah and I
chin.
fight over.
This part.
Apple versus Android, and grape jelly versus red raspberry jelly on peanut butter sandwiches.
Grape jelly for life, yo.
No. Nope.
Point right here, that's labiomandibular fold. Women tend to have it, and it's very, very
No, grape is not better.
small width-wise.
I like in the editing they had to be like, actually everybody has this fold, but it's more prominent on women or more acute angle.
This is a very
Oh
small chin.
God.
It's a pointy witch-like chin, which is a female trait. So we have the female brow ridge.
Did you know that a witch-like chin is a female trait?
I can't say that's come up in my reproductive and developmental biology classes,
Okay. Well, maybe you need to study harder.
of which I've taken many.
And, you know, as they age, with the testosterone, you can kind of see that labiomandibular fold even more so than you were before with the wrinkling. In a man, it would be more broad, it would be more obvious. And you can actually see in this person's quote-unquote wife, they have a much broader chin.
Even if Bill Gates' wife was trans, it would still be his wife.
Even more so here. You
What
can
do you
see
mean,
it.
so-called wife?
We're paying a lots of attention to the face because the face is going to be the most obvious place of the female traits. And it, by that LM fold being super, the angle is super.
What?
One's one out.
Oh no.
This is a video on hippie Hitler and how Hitler is a female. And
Nope, don't look at me. Don't ask me a question about that. Thank you.
all of the probably the majority of them. The higher up you go, I believe, the more likely it is that they aren't even intersex. It's just a woman on T. And I mean, look at the hips on Hitler.
You know, the widely available hormone replacement treatment that was available pre-World War II. Pre-World War I, because Hitler was in World War I. He was a soldier.
Those are childbearing hips. Childbearing hips.
Don't you like Hitler's childbearing hips?
I can't say the words Hitler and like should exist in any context.
Look at Hitler's childbearing hips. Why?
Hips is one of the buzzwords that gets thrown around. Kind of like how on TV they'll bring up bone structure, they'll bring up cheekbones. Childbearing hips is something that people definitely talk about, and in day-to-day lives, that's something that just regular everyday inverts will talk about, childbearing hips. And here you go. Hitler had childbearing hips.
Hold on, let's look at some of the... I don't know where this is going, but I'm very excited for it. But before we continue, let's look at some of these comments, because I am very curious. All the world is truly a stage filled with switch-ups. Soul contracts are required to be on the stage. Shake my head. YouTube deletes my comments. He does the Murano claw too, which a lot of trans do. Murano claw? I'm not even gonna look that up. I don't know what it is, but... Oh my word, Hans. I've never seen that pic of Donna playing tennis. Oh, LOL. Oh, are they on the... Do they think Donald Trump is a trans man too? Yikers. Hi, please do a video on Bill Gates and her husband, thanks. Oh. Why? This is bordering on mean, because some of these people have to be, like, schizophrenic. There's no way that these are, like... You don't get this, like, involved in a conspiracy without having some sort of, like, condition.
Has given natural
I don't know. I don't like commenting on mental health things.
I suppose.
Donna's obviously inverted children. And they make fun of the small hands, and they make fun of this, but they don't flat out say, look at the skull and bones, it is a female.
You know
Like,
that
that's-
video is really low.
It's like they can
Like,
do
I can
anything
hardly
except
hear
for
it.
that. Say,
What? Turn it up.
saying,
How's that?
this is a female, period. That is against
Okay.
the rules, but they can make fun of the hand size. They can make statues of them with the little micro. They can talk about them being thick, and so
Donald Trump is thick in this picture. Look at that. Thick. Just wanna slap those thighs.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They're not allowed to just flat out say Donna Trump is a woman abusing testosterone.
Why would Donald Trump, who is a Republican, why would a trans person run for president as a Republican and not be open about the fact that they were trans?
I want to talk about the fact that this person just said that like it's someone abusing testosterone
Yeah.
or something.
Mhm.
Do they think that anybody taking hormones is like
They're- yeah,
abusing them?
yes.
But what about hormone replacement therapy for people like in menopause or people that have, pituitary problems where they can't make their own testosterone or estrogen?
No, they wouldn't think that's abuse.
Then why? I don't know.
Going back
I'm done.
to Hitler, I mean, sits like a woman. This is how women sit.
This is how women sit. What? What? With a knee over, with the leg over their knee?
Very feminine. The eyes
Very
are not set
feminine.
back. The eyes are bulging. FTM get this bulging eye. Men are supposed to have eyes.
Female to males have a bulging eye. What does that mean? Do you think hormones push your eyeballs out so they're bigger and look like anime eyes?
That are sunken in. Think like Maria Shriver. Those sunken in eyes. FTM have these bulging out eyes, and the eyebrows are very, very close to the eye. The ability to have these like crazy drag queen eye makeup, that's a male feature, to have eyebrows that are really...
You know, I will say one thing. I think there's some poetic justice in the fact that we're sitting here almost 100 years after the Holocaust in World War II, and Hitler is being accused of being transgender by some wacko on the internet. Things do come full circle sometimes. Crazy bigot from one century shitting on a crazy bigot from another century. So that's the circle of life, I think.
Sure.
really far away from your eye. Women look like this. Real women don't have crazy space to make eye makeup. And the really thin lips. Probably just a fake mustache. They cover their necks. And yeah, they're trannies. Look at the way that this sits. Females sit like that.
It could be a real
Here's the bigger
mustache,
photo
even if it
showing-
is female to male.
Yeah, if they were on Heck, I mean, there are some women who can grow, there are cis women who can grow mustaches theoretically, so a trans man
Yeah.
certainly
people,
on hormones could.
people with PCOS are frequently have a bunch of androgens, and it causes facial hair growth.
Not childbearing hips, and then, whoa. Nothing new. They talk
This photo speaks for itself, I suppose.
about drag King Tut. Goes back to Egypt. What these people do, I mean, you can tell that they're
Wait, is he under the impression that King Tut is also a secret trans person? That's amazing. Wow, what a rich cultural history my people have.
obsessed with Egypt. And what they're doing is nothing new. King Tut, they'll tell you King Tut had female hips.
I think what you mean is King Tut had abnormally large hips along with many other birth defects due to the inbreeding.
Those rounded, pudgy kneecaps. There's a reason that George Washington
George
has rosy red
Washington?
cheeks and saggy skin and
Is anyone in history not trans? Everyone else, all you cis need to get out of my goddamn country. The father of this country, George Washington, the first trans president, founded this country for us, not for you. Get out. Think I've done my job today?
Somebody's gonna clip that, and it's gonna go viral.
That's fine. Great. Do it.
had to wear wigs, and you can even see here no eyelashes. When they abuse testosterone, their eyelashes fall out. You'll see people in real life all the time that they don't have any eyelashes because they abuse hormones.
What?
What does it mean when people talk about childbearing hips? People don't even know. Like, people need this to be explained to them. And they still don't even get it. They just think, oh, well, some guys have huge hips. Some women don't have any hips. They don't understand. No, God made them male and female. Men do not have childbearing hips. Women do have childbearing hips. The fact is that people don't understand intersex conditions and how common they are. Women are born with penises super frequently today. And a lot of men are eunuchs made in the womb. They come out with a vagina. It's called Swyer syndrome. They can get pregnant and give birth using modern medicine. And yeah, that's the truth. Look at how Manlania sits. They do this on purpose. I mean, because they're trained. They know what they're supposed to do. Like,
I guarantee you can find a million pictures of Melania in various... Well, no, I don't want to Google her on images, though, because we're on Twitch, and she has done softcore pornography photo shoots, which is fine, but, like,
Melania,
I don't want to get
I'm
dinged for
sure,
that.
sits correctly a lot of times, but they'll come out and they'll show you. I mean, the male politicians just all sit like women. They all sit like women. But here's an example of Melania, and they sit like this.
This was supposed to be about Hitler. Disappointed. The Michelle Obama one gets a lot of traction.
There's a Taylor Swift one.
Let's do some fan fiction. I need a palate cleanse. What should I do fan fiction of?
Twilight.
Oh, God. Short-ish length, so it doesn't take forever to get through a single one. Filter by the review filters. No. Okay. We're just gonna go, I don't know, let's say page 11. Rated K plus, rated T. That's not even a story. Hold on, let me switch this up a little bit. Doodly doo 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 doo. Full screen. Okay, let's see. Come in, Emmett said when he heard a gentle knock at his door. Carlisle, I want one with Bella and Edward. Let's go to the last page. Let's go to the third from last page. The ballet studio. When Bella is lying there on the ballet floor, Edward is in a lot of agony. I used My Chemical Romance as thank you for the venom. I thought it sounded fitting. One shot. Yeah, fuck it. Let's read this one. Oh, it's a song! No. I don't even know the song she, based the melody on, so. This is short. Where'd it go? I thought to myself as I looked around my room. It was there earlier. I went to school. It was there. I came home. It was there. Now it's gone. Bella looked up from my couch, a confused look in her eyes. Edward, what's wrong? I look up, a sheepish look on my face. Oh, God.
It needs a comma.
This story's barely a paragraph long. Please proofread your stories, people. It's gone. I point to my pants. Man, this never happens to Emmett or Jasper. Bella giggles slightly. Where was the last place you saw it? I think for a moment before answering. Well, the restroom. I didn't just go around looking at it. That would make it kind of weird. Are they talking about a penis?
I don't know.
Is his penis detachable? Is that a vampire thing that I'm unaware of? Oh, no. Bella shook her head, trying not to laugh. Well, have you checked the restroom? I smile, another sheepish smile. No. She stared at me for a moment. Okay, I'll go look there then. Bella, called out laughing. How old are you again? I grunted while looking under the sink. We've went over this. Old enough to know better. I looked in the shower, still no sign of it. I slowly slumped back into my room. Bella sat on the couch, item in question in hand. Where'd you find it? She laughed. In the couch. Must have come off after you tackled me. I told you this would happen. She reached into a drawer and pulled out a needle and thread. Here, I'll put it back on, she said. She pulled the hem of my pants towards her. I jumped slightly. Hey, can't I at least take my pants off? Bella rolled her eyes. I guess if you want. I pulled my pants off and handed them to her. She quickly reattached the button with ease and handed them back. Esme needs to come back soon. I'm not good at this handy girl thing. Why did it sound like he had missed his penis fell off for that entire story? Was that intentional?
I don't know.
It sounded like he had lost his penis, similar to Peter Pan losing his shadow. And much like Wendy sewing it back on to Peter Pan, he wanted her to sew his penis back onto his Ken doll smooth.
Love, I think we just have dirty minds.
I don't know. Edward will never be as perfect as Stephanie. Oh, my Edward will never be as perfect as Stephanie Myers, but I try my best. After this one, I'll switch to something like Star Wars, or Star Trek, or Marvel. But Venom ruined it for me. Just one bite, and I was done for. I could have died, but I lived. A damned creature with no soul. A blood-curdling blood-sucker. Who in the right mind would ever love me for real? This was a joke. It had to be. If she really knew what I was, if she really took it seriously, I should have warned her. I did warn her, but I'm too selfish. Oop, wrong version of 2. Good job. I let her into my life when I should have pushed her out. Why did I have to do that? I was going to lose her one day. Why not now? Why not just go instead of saving it for later? Because I love her. She loves me. I can't go. I have to. Sooner rather than later, right? Yes, of course. No. Never, never, ever leave her. Who cares what others do? I do. This sounds like the ranting of like
someone that's not quite all there.
But I have to leave. I have to let this go on for far too long. The second I realized I loved her, I should have left. I should have never given myself the chance, but I had to. I won't leave. nothing bad will happen to her. Yes, that should be a comma. Yes, loads of bad things will happen to her. I have to leave. Save us both. But that's not saving us both. Yes, it is. Well, maybe not me, but humans can move on. She's human? For goodness sakes, she's food, not something you... This is legit one of the worst fan fictions I've ever read. Not an entertainment value, just like poorly structured.
Star Trek.
Star Trek?
Spurk.
What?
Spurk.
What?
Spock.
Oh.
Kirk. Spurk.
Filters. Genre. Romance. Some Kirk Spock fiction.
Yes, please.
What is it called? Spurk?
Yeah, or Spock/Kirk. You could also go to Archive of Our Own, which is another fan fiction site that's better than this one.
Okay, here's one. This one is called Good Night, Captain. James Tiberius Kirk was having a very bad day. For one, Spock and Uhura had formally ended their romantic relationship, and though they claimed to be perfectly civil, the tension was stifling. The whole crew could feel it. No matter how professionally they attempted to act, it was wearing on Kirk. What should he do? Should he reprimand them for this? Should he file official paperwork to Starfleet, alerting them that their relationship had terminated? No, he wouldn't do that. Do you need to fill out HR forms for Starfleet if you start a relationship?
I would assume so. It's like any other company.
Then why is Kirk saying, should he file that paperwork? No, he wouldn't do that. Well, if it's official, you need to do it, Kirk. I know that clerical stuff probably isn't your favorite thing.
I
but
think he's talking about they ended their relationship, so he doesn't know if he should, like, update that with Starfleet.
He should. It's his job. He's the captain.
Yeah?
He didn't want to pose even the slightest risk of losing either of his officers. The crew of the Enterprise was a perfect team. They couldn't be separated. For two, Jim had the most overwhelming migraine he'd ever experienced in his life. He sat in the captain's chair, hunched over, callous, fingers gripping short, flaxen hair. Eyes as blue as the sky were stormy with pain, squinting against the lights of the bridge. Really, they could all see just fine. Did it have to be so damn bright? Captain? Came a crisp, inquiring but carefully detached voice. Kirk didn't even bother raising his head. A pad was slipped into his limited field of vision. Paperwork of some kind. The young captain took it without a word and waved his hand in dismissal. A pause, then again. Captain? Yes, Mr. Spock, what is it? Jim bit out through tightly clenched teeth. He managed to look up, ever so slightly. Spock stood as always with perfect posture, his hands clasped behind his back. One dark, elegant Vulcan eyebrow curved upwards in a subdued show of confusion, concern, too. At least Jim wished it were concern. Are you unwell, Captain? No, Mr. Spock, Kirk said, leaning back into his chair and doing his best to appear the picture of health. He received another raised eyebrow and curt nod in response. Then Spock returned to his chair at the science station. Jim let out a sigh of relief. His hand came up to his forehead and his fingers rubbed delicately at his temples. Alpha shift was almost over. One more hour, and he could disappear to his personal quarters for a long hot shower and an even longer nap. For the next 10 minutes or so, he managed to keep that thought at the forefront of his mind, driving him to hold his sanity. But every moment his vision swam a little more, and his head pounded a little harder. Kyeptin, Chekhov's Russian tenor, as adorable as it was, shot through his skull with all the intensity of a lightning bolt. Kirk groaned. His entire world was doing a sickening flip as he toppled from his chair. The bridge erupted into a chaos of startled shouts, which didn't help his headache in the least. For an instant, blackness. Then there was a thud, ever so light. As light as a feather, as someone dropped to their knees beside him. Uhura, Kirk thought. She was dainty enough to be so graceful. But the masculine voice that sounded beside him proved him wrong. Ensign Chekhov, alert medical, Spock said, his tone brisk and clipped, yet emotionless as always. Jim expected to be left there until Bones made it to the bridge, but instead, strong, warm arms lifted him as... Oh boy. Strong, warm arms lifted him as if he were no heavier than an infant. He turned his nose into the fabric of the shirt and was met with the sharp, clean scent of his first officer. There was a whoosh as the doors of the turbo lift opened, and another as they closed. Soon they were moving. "Captain," came Spock's voice once more, "why did you not alert me of the state of your unrest when I inquired? Such a decision was exceedingly illogical." "It's just a headache, Spock," Jim replied, voice muffled by the blue scientific tunic. "A mere headache certainly would..." Oh, no, wrong voice. "A mere headache certainly would not cause you such distress, Captain," Spock stated. "In any case, I'm sure Dr. McCoy will be interested to hear that you were in need of medical assistance and refused to seek it." Jim let out a whine. "You two are tag-teaming me," he moaned. "That's not fair." He was settled onto a bed in sickbay, but he found himself reluctant to leave the comfort of his first mate's arms. "Stop your moaning, Jim," McCoy reprimanded in his gruff southern tone. "Hobgoblin, what the hell happened? Chekhov said he fainted?" "Affirmative," Spock said. "The captain lost consciousness for approximately 10.3 seconds. That sounds more like a Data line than a Spock line.
Yes.
They're slipping into Data a little bit here. Afterward, he was disoriented and nearly unresponsive. I thought it was logical to deliver him to sickbay immediately. A perfect blend of irritation and bemusement crossed McCoy's face. You know, just a yes would have done the job. He readied a hypo and stabbed it into the side of Kirk's neck, causing the young captain to hiss in surprise. "Damn it, Bones," Jim grumbled. "Shut it, Jim," McCoy shot back. "I wouldn't have to give you any damn shots if you took care of yourself. We've talked about these migraines. When was the last time you ate?" "Breakfast," Jim muttered, rubbing at his sore neck. "Breakfast when?" McCoy paused. There's no... is that all the slash we get in this? That's lame. I'm done with this one. Rhythm and Sweat.
Oh no. That's long.
I don't know. Hold on, let me turn the thing back on. Or let me... Whoop. Gotta find something else like this to watch. Does anyone have any creators who are really awful that I could watch their videos? Let me just see if I can... Marvel SJW? That'll be some reactionary bullshit. Oh, that's about those, though. Joe Rogan. Oh, God. Joe fucking Rogan. Oh, God. Sargon of Akkad bitching about it. What's Sargon been up to?
Somebody put a link, 8 reasons to stop cussing.
Okay. 8 reasons to stop cussing.
It's that one.
Yep.
Profanity is ignorance made audible, an old Irish proverb.
Fuck you!
Cussing is like a virus. It's everywhere. TV, movies, music, books, and daily conversation.
Get a suit that fits.
But why is cussing wrong? And how do you kick the habit? Keep watching because I'm going to give you 8 reasons to stop cussing forever.
How to outsmart your liberal professor.
One day I will be one of the progressive professors.
Number 1. Real men don't cuss.
Oh, good. We're going to use toxic masculinity to force people to not use words that make you feel bad. Great.
Real men know that vulgarity doesn't breed character and virtue, so they don't cuss. In fact, George Washington issued the following order in...
I find it a little hard to believe George Washington, who ended up eating shoes because his army was so fucked up in the winter before this photograph was taken.
Photograph was taken.
Yes.
Yes? You mean painting was painted.
Yes. The crossing of the Delaware. They ended up having to eat shoes because they were so out of food. I don't believe just once he was like, this fucking sucks, right?
He cussed up a storm. There's no way.
1776. The general is sorry to be informed that the foolish and wicked practice of profane cursing and swearing, a vice heretofore little known in the American army, is growing into fashion. He hopes the officers will, by example as well as influence, endeavor to check it, and that both they and the men will reflect that we can have little hopes of the blessing of heaven on our arms if we insult it by our impiety and folly.
George Washington, I've been to George Washington's house near Washington, D.C., and I don't respect any moral musings from a man who owned slaves. I've stood in his house, and I've stood in the houses of his slaves. The slave houses had dirt floors. Don't exactly feel like he's one for moral soapboxing. Like, it's fine, whatever. It was 1776. I'm not here to be mad about some dead fuck. But George Washington being mad about someone swearing is hilarious to me.
Added to this, it is a vice so mean and low without any temptation that every man of sense and character detests and despises it. Number 2, cussing degrades us.
Foul language, cussing, and cursing is vulgar, indecent, and irreverent. The constant use of foul language drags us down and it undermines mutual respect. For example, if a teacher uses foul language in the classroom, he shows an appalling lack of respect for his students, no self-control, and utter irreverence for his position as a teacher. But someone might object, a few foul words won't hurt anyone, right? Wrong. As author Paul Bourget said, one must live as one thinks, under pain of sooner or later ending up thinking as one has lived. In other words, if we use dirty language, we open the door to dirty thoughts and dirty behavior.
No? Like, someone can say, fuck you, and be, like, a really nice person otherwise. For instance, my dad didn't, like, swear a lot, and he didn't like it when other people swore. But he was, like, an angry alcoholic monster who would belittle everyone around him. So, kind of a weird line to draw.
Number 3, cussing harms civilization.
The art of conversation is one of the most important traits of civilization. Elevated conversation sets true civilization apart from barbarism. When each word is used in its proper context...
Wow, unironic barbarism claim. Great. That's very pre-postmodernism of them.
Relations are cultivated and elevated. Cussing, however, wreaks havoc on good conversation. It drags human relations into the mud of banality and vulgarity.
St. Francis de Sales teaches us how to handle a foul mouth. Show that you are displeased by turning away or by whatever other method your discretion may indicate. Number 4, cussing desensitizes us.
In what way does cussing desensitize us? It desensitizes us to being upset about certain words, potentially. But if they're going to try and say that it begins the degradation of the entirety of human civilization, that's a stretch.
The more we hear foul words, the more we become desensitized to them. When movies first introduced cuss words, most people didn't even like it. But over a period of time, that resistance slowly diminished. Rejection for cussing was worn down, and before long, the sense of right and wrong was numbed.
Whenever we fail to explicitly reject something that is wrong, we implicitly tend to accept it. Consequently, the unacceptable becomes acceptable. The bar of decency falls lower and lower.
Number 5, cussing broadcasts bad example.
For good or for ill, the example we give in our speech is noticed and imitated. The words we use cause an impact on our peers. Our example is educational, because the very words we use educate. We are constantly imitating or being imitated, and that interplay of influence holds even more sway over children.
Hollywood pops.
The thing is, if kids know there are words they aren't supposed to say, they're gonna want to say them when you're not around.
Stars produce a steady stream of verbal garbage that aims to glamorize and normalize foul language.
Kid Rock is
If
an
we wanna
interesting
lift
choice
American
for who they
culture out of
picked.
the mud, a good place to begin is to stop cussing.
Number 6, cussing spreads verbal and mental poverty.
With upwards of 200,000 words, the English language is incredibly rich. All sorts of descriptive and interesting words are at our disposal to craft ideas full of meaning and purpose. But our vocabulary is degrading. Even in the halls of higher learning, college students use the same cuss words to describe joy, rage, surprise, approval, and disapproval. As a result, speech is rendered meaningless, and the mind
Speech is not made meaningless by the fact that many people share the same exclamations when certain things happens. That's how language works.
If I can use fuck to express very quickly what I'm upset or whatever towards, I'm gonna use fuck and shit and ass however many times I want.
Which is the most noble aspect of man, is impoverished.
Number 7, cussing is co-natural with sin.
Man's unruly passions welcome cussing. When ungodly men are confronted or challenged, they frequently resort to the same response, cussing and vulgar insults. TFB
Fuck you. Oh, they're right. They're right on that one.
student action volunteers see this far too often.
Oh no, did you see that sign? I'm going back to it, hold on. Transgender ideology.
Oh.
They cut out a lot of it from the frame, but not all of it. That's good.
Volunteers see this far too often on college campuses. When pro-transgender activists see our banners that proclaim God created them male and female, stop the ravages of transgender ideology.
Oh, there it is. Oh, is swearing going to lead to... Is that why? Is
Yes.
that why I want my penis turned into a vagoo? Is it the swear words?
I don't know, because that would mean that I would want my vagoo turned into a penis. Because I cuss like a sailor.
You sure?
At least
You
it's
sure
not
you don't want to
wrong.
take some hormones and turn that clit into a big ol' meaty dick?
No, I like my vagina.
Okay, so do I.
Response
You're
is
never gonna
invariably
see it
the
ever
same.
again.
I doubt that.
They cuss.
To argue about a bunch of bigots. How many times do I have to tell you that?
It's been so hard, like, encountering, like people that are actually, like, so stupid.
Cussing is the language of the movements that promote sin.
Number 8, cussing is not pleasing to God. Sacred Scripture clearly addresses the profanity problem. But I say unto you, that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall render an account for it in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. In Proverbs we read, the mouth of the just shall bring forth wisdom, the tongue of the perverse shall perish. The lips of the just consider what is acceptable, and the mouth of the wicked uttereth perverse things. Ecclesiasticus adds, many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have perished by their own tongue. Do you want to help others kick the cussing habit? Then share this video.
The Bible also says, I know it's cliche, but it's true. The Bible says not to eat shellfish, not to wear mixed fabric. The Bible, if you can think of a thing that you want to do, the Bible probably says you shouldn't do it somewhere.
The Bible is also fiction.
Ooh. Is Jillian Epperly on here still? 7 hours ago. 13 views. Subscribe. For those of you who don't know, Jeff Holiday has done a really entertaining series called A Song of Salt and Poo, which is about this woman, Jillian Epperly, who has started a snake oil salesman business in which they try to sell what they call Jilly Juice. I know I have the book somewhere in this room, but this room is full of probably 100, if not more, random, like, pseudoscience bullshit books. So, in fact, before we finish here today, I'll probably read one of these picture books to you guys, because they're actually really hilarious. Do you want to maybe find me the vaccination one? Or the anti-vaccination one? I could probably do that. But anyway, Jilly Juice is effectively cabbage blended up into salt water, incredibly salty water, and then fermented. It's really bad for you. It dehydrates you and gives you what Jillian calls waterfalls, which is really explosive diarrhea. And she believes that this concoction will fix all ailments. It'll cure your cancer. It'll regrow your lungs if you've, like, had a lung transplant. She's nuts. She's absolutely nuts.
So I want to send this message to an Aaron Estrada. He just sent me an email, and I have to kind of laugh at it, giving me, like, professional advice and stuff. You know, when you first initially emailed me, you sounded like you were interested in the J Juice. Was I on Dr. Phil? So you came off very deceptive in your approach, which tells me already that you're not credible. When you come off as deceptive in your approach to trying to get your point across to see if you're going to get to me or whatever, which, okay, fine, you need to get to me, that's fine. But everything you say thereafter, as far as your professional criticism or non-professional criticism, has just lost credibility. So whether...
Okay, here's what we're going to do. We are going to do some children's books that I have sitting around, because I have a ridiculous number of these. Just an insane number piling up. So, first we're going to take a look at... Actually, let me tweet this first, because I'm still streaming, and I want to get some other people in here if I can. While I do these kids' books. And then we will get both this Answers in Genesis children's book and this anti-vax children's book, and we'll go through them together.
One day you need to read this.
What is it?
It's not a children's book.
Fascinating Womanhood. How to Make Your Marriage a Lifelong Love Affair. What traits today's men find irresistible in women. How to awaken a man's deepest feelings of love. 8 rules for successful relationships. How to rekindle your love. No, I'm good.
Oh, but listen to the front. How the ideal woman awakens a man's deepest love and tenderness.
Paste. There we go. That's tweeted out. Now let's get to these stupid books. Okay. So this is an Answers in Genesis book. This is part of a series. I've read none of these, but we have many of these. This is volume 1. It looks like we have we have 6 of them. So here's the foreword for parents and teachers, written by Ken Ham, the head of Answers in Genesis, which, if you don't know, is the people who do the Creation Museum and the Ark Encounter. Dear moms and dads, the more I learn about our infinite creator God, and the longer I serve him, the more amazed I am at his greatness. As I consider the universe God created, I share David's exclamation in Psalm 145, verse 3. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. The greatness of God is truly unsearchable when we consider creation. This book is intended to give biblical and scientific answers in a way children will understand to questions they have about God's creation and man's fall into sin. Sadly, our culture today, by and large, has turned away from the truth of God's word in Genesis. As you know, the Bible makes it very clear that parents are responsible for the teachings of their children. I thank you for allowing me the opportunity to partner with you as we strive to teach children to not only believe God's word, but to also put their faith and trust in our Savior, the creator of the universe, Jesus Christ. Charles Spurgeon once said, "The only way to keep chaff out of the child's cup is to fill it to the brim with good wheat." We need to be consistent and intentional as we fill the cups of our children with the good wheat of God's precious holy word. My prayer is that this book will begin to answer many of the questions your children will encounter, but in a way that gives God the glory, honor, and power he is worthy of. Ken Ham, President, CEO, Answers in Genesis. So basically he's saying we need to indoctrinate your children before they're allowed to be given access to information by the world as a whole, so they already have preconceived notions about the world being created like 6,000 years ago, instead of coming to the reasonable conclusion scientists have come to, which is the Earth is billions of years old. Yes?
I have a question. So that forward was by Ken Ham?
Yeah.
Is that the guy that did some museum or something?
Mm-hmm. He did the Creation Museum with the Ark Encounter and that stuff. Question, and this book is done in every page is like a question and an answer. So we won't necessarily read all of these, but we will get to several of them.
And they're supposedly by children. They're supposed to be questions children have
Gotcha.
submitted.
The handwriting does look either childish or in a type font.
Oh, it's a type font.
That
They're all
looks
the same.
okay. Gotcha. Question: when did time begin? I think Stephen Hawking once said in either A Brief History of Time or The Universe in a Nutshell, his two earlier books. I think he said something along the lines of asking when time began is like asking the color of envy. It doesn't really make sense. Time didn't... Before time, you can't say when time began, because time is a factor created in our current universe as we understand it, but we don't understand what it would mean prior to that. Does that make sense, what I just said?
Yes.
Okay. The answer: in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Genesis 1:1. Time began when God started to create everything in the whole universe. He did this in the beginning of Creation Week, according to the Bible. That was about 6,000 years ago. Wow, all the civilizations that existed prior to that must have been very surprised when God showed up and started creating things that they already had.
Huh?
There are civilizations on Earth older than 10,000 years old.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't listening.
Gotcha. Before then, there were no days or weeks or years. It's hard for us to understand, but time, just like everything else God created, including you or me, had a beginning, and it wasn't very long ago. Yes, it was a very long time ago. God, on the other hand, is infinite. He has always existed, and he is not bound to time like we are. That, of course, means absolutely nothing. If you ask a creationist what that even means, they'll have no idea what it means. It's just supposed to sound nice. In fact, the Bible says that to God a day can be like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years can be like a day. Time just doesn't seem to mean the same thing to God as it does to us. He's outside of it. We do know, however, that he created time on the first day of creation. Where do young Earth creationists get the idea that the Earth is 6,000 years old? That comes from, I forget who did it, but there was basically at some point either a monk or a pastor, it was someone who was a biblical scholar, basically went through all the parts in the Bible where it says this person begat this person, begat this person, begat this person, and they died and were born at certain ages, and they added it all up, and it gives you roughly a 6,000 year since Adam and Eve, which would have been like in the first week of creation according to the Bible. Question: how did God create everything from nothing? Shelby H. The picture they use for this little girl, I'm pretty sure is like a 16-year-old Asian woman. That does not look like a person who would write in that font. Okay. Just wanted to make sure everyone gets how weird that is. Answer: by faith, we understand that worlds were framed by the word of God, so that the things which are seen were not made of things which are invisible. Hebrews 11:3. We serve a mighty and powerful God. He created everything, the whole universe, in just 6 days. And in our Bible verse, we learned that the things we see were made from the things not seen, or invisible things. In other words, there was nothing when God began to create. So that's not an answer. That's a non-answer. You just said, out of nothing.
They're all non-answers.
Did Adam and Eve have belly buttons? You're not the first one to wonder about Adam and Eve's belly button. Do you know that our belly buttons are scars left over from when we were born? When a baby is growing in her mommy's tummy, she needs food. Blah, blah. Yeah, I know how that works. The Bible tells us that our great God made the first man, Adam, out of dust. He was already an adult, so he didn't need a cord to get food. The Bible also tells us God made the first woman directly from the rib of man, so she was an adult too. I think it's very possible they didn't need or have belly buttons, like Kyle XY. Remember that show?
Yeah.
Okay. Where is the Garden of Eden? Age 10, Michigan, USA. This one's from Michigan. Answer: a river. Oh, no. Joy, we have absolutely no idea where the Garden of Eden was located. The Mormons know it's in Mississippi. Did you know that's a thing Mormons believe? The Garden of Eden is in Jackson County. No, wait. The Garden of Eden is in Jackson County, Missouri. Missouri? Book of Mormon, the musical, has a line about it.
I love you.
Oh, thanks. I love you too. Joy, we have absolutely no idea where the Garden of Eden was located. The Bible verse tells us about the Garden of Eden, and it even mentions 4 rivers around the garden. But there are only 2 rivers today that have the same names as those where the Garden of Eden was located. The Tigris and the Euphrates. The rest of the description doesn't match, so the Garden of Eden wasn't there. Also, the worldwide flood of Noah's day would have destroyed everything on earth, including the Garden of Eden. So why do those 2 rivers have the same names? Well, I think Noah or someone in his family named the rivers, and he used the names of rivers that existed before the flood. Names he already knew. Maybe he wanted to be sure that people would not forget the days before the flood, and to remind them they must honor and obey God. I feel like there are better ways of doing that than being like, oh shit, those rivers. There were 2 rivers where I was from. Gonna name them the same thing. You're the only people on Earth, so you can like create a uniform writing system and make sure that the writings get passed down, and everyone has to agree with you because everyone else is dead. Just saying. Why did God make a week 7 days long? Our Bible verse tells us why God made the week 7 days long. Let me explain. He made the 7-day week just for us. He created everything in 6 days and rested on the 7th day, right? Well, God could have made the entire universe in one split second because he is an all-powerful and almighty. But he was setting a pattern for us to follow. Oh, God. If we just kept on working every single day, we would get tired and probably get sick. God was showing us that we can work 6 days, but then we need to rest for 1 day. Wait, is Ken Ham so fucking stupid that he thinks human beings, if they weren't told that weekends exist, that they would just work themselves to death and wouldn't think, man, I could just use a rest today?
Well, they want to obey God so strongly that they would just keep working. It's not like we have to sleep or anything.
Very stupid. Oh no, why was the first person that God created a boy? I'm sure this answer will be great. Okay, first of all, this person wasn't exactly a boy. Adam was a man. That's being a little pedantic. You know what they meant, Ken. Fuck off. And while we know that, as our infinite creator, God can do whatever he wants to do, when he made Adam first, God was teaching us how he wanted our families to be. This is gonna be some Girl Defined shit right here. It says that God wanted to create a helper for Adam, so he created Eve. Eve was the perfect complement to Adam. Adam was the leader of that very first family. Adam was not better or more valuable than Eve. It was just that God knew someone had to be a leader. So he made that leader Adam. Okay, no. Why would needing a leader necessitate genders? If let's say you're God and you're starting from scratch, you need a leader. Why are you then splitting people into a 50-50 split on what they are? Because that would just create a world that's 50% leaders and 50% not. That doesn't make any sense. Because when there's more than 2 people on the planet, you're just going to wind up with a bunch of leaders. Adam was the leader of that very first family. Adam was not better or more valuable than Eve. It was blah, 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 blah. By doing this, God showed us that he wanted the husband, the dad in the family, to be the spiritual leader. Oh, no.
You know, how are we going to do this without being led by someone, Hannah?
God loves
high... women.
I know. We're just wandering around. We don't even know.
Aimlessly.
Yeah. How long did it take Adam to name the animals? First, we know from Genesis that Adam named only land animals on the 6th day, and he named them before Eve was created on that same day, by the way. This means that he definitely named them within 24 hours, at most. Will you Google how many land animals there are on the planet?
I saw once that they included, like, in animals that each individual, like, bug species also was on the ark. So that's, like, a lot.
Mm-hmm. Second, remember from the previous question that Adam named only kinds of land animals and then only the cattle, birds of the air, and beasts of the field. Adam really named far fewer animals than we think. Oh, no.
There are 8.7 million species on Earth, give or take 1.3 million.
Okay. I'm gonna pare it way down and say, how many million? 8 million? I'm gonna say he has 1 million animals to name in a day. He would not have enough time to name that many animals. Adam was the most intelligent man that ever lived. What? Why? What? Why? Why would the one who has to live in a peaceful utopia garden with no schooling, why would he be the most intelligent? He suffered no hardship. He has no reason to know anything. In fact, that was kind of an issue with the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So no. God made him the perfect brain and a perfect memory. Oh, it was Trump. It wouldn't take him long to think of the names and then to remember which animals which was. He had plenty of intelligence and plenty of time to name them in one day. Nope. Why did God put the tree in the Garden of Eden if he didn't want Adam and Eve to eat the fruit from it?
Yes.
Good question.
Asking the right questions there, kid.
Have you ever played with a puppet? I didn't expect this answer to start like that. The puppet will do whatever you want to it because it is in your hand. You are moving it, talking for it, and making it sit, stand, and dance. Well, when God made Adam, he didn't want him to be a puppet, but he wanted Adam to truly love him. The command about the tree of knowledge of good and evil was God's test to see if Adam really did love God enough to totally obey him. The problem with this answer is that the tree is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Before humans, Adam and Eve, ate of the fruit, they had no concept of good or evil. Therefore, how are they supposed to understand that obedience is morally good when they don't understand good and evil?
Also,
that's not a test. That's setting someone up.
Also, Crimson 11 had a very good point. If he's the most intelligent man to ever live, why did he fall for the apple?
Mm-hmm. Adam failed the test. He sinned against God and did something God told him not to do. This was a bad day for all of us because Adam was the head of the whole human race, the very first man, I didn't vote for him. When he failed God's test, he brought sin into the world, and now all of us have the same sin from Adam. That's not a good answer.
Have any of them been good answers so far?
No. Okay, we're doing the anti-vax book. Come back to that another day. So this is... Sarah doesn't want to be vaccinated. An anti-vax children's book someone sent us. I don't know what we're gonna do after this one. Very gloomy out today.
It is very gloomy. At least the rain is washing my car.
This book is dedicated to all children and parents who are concerned about vaccinations and refuse to give in to the constant vaccination propaganda. Parents who refuse to vaccinate their children make this decision after careful consideration because they are convinced that vaccinations do more harm than good. The decision not to vaccinate is often not an easy one, because one so often faces criticism and seems to be swimming upstream. Dear parents, I hope this book will help you and your children to understand better the controversial issues of vaccination. Can I just say, way too wordy for a children's book. Look at that, every page is like this. Sarah is sitting at the table having dinner with her parents and her little brother Tim. She is telling her parents all about the Girl and Boy Scout camps that she dearly wants to attend the following week and has brought home a long list from the Girl Scout troop. It lists everything she should bring with her to camp. It also says that she should bring her vaccination record. Mom, what's a vaccination record? Sarah asks with surprise. A vaccination record lists all the vaccinations that you've received in your life. Vaccinations are shots that are supposed to protect you from getting sick. You and Tim don't have vaccination records, though, because you haven't been vaccinated, her mother replied. At which point, I assume Sarah went, oh, what now?
Yeah, especially since the mom just said it's supposed to, like, protect you and didn't explain. But I don't think it actually protects you.
Why aren't we vaccinated? Sarah wonders with surprise. Her father replies, people always tell you that vaccinations aren't dangerous, but that's not true. A lot of people have gotten really sick from vaccinations, and that's why you should not be vaccinated. Who has gotten really sick from vaccinations outside of people who have allergic reactions to some of the ingredients?
Gwyneth Paltrow. Supposedly.
Mm-hmm. Sarah is really worried. She thinks she definitely needs a vaccination record so she can go to scout camp. Her mother reassures her that she will call the troop leader in the morning and discuss the matter then. This makes Sarah feel a bit better about it. There's them at dinner. There's the mom. There's the dad. They got a whole cabinet of china behind them. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this, like, weird doodly sketch art style.
I think it's supposed to look like it's watercolored.
Oh, maybe. Sarah and Tim's father take them up to bed after dinner. They share a room. He wanted to read them a bedtime story, but Tim insists on asking, "Daddy, is it bad that we aren't vaccinated?" His eyes hold concern, but his father answers, "You know, Tim, I wasn't vaccinated either, and I had all the childhood diseases." "What is a childhood disease?" Sarah wants to know. Her father explains, "It's a disease like, for example, measles. It used to be that most kids got measles and a few other diseases. That's why they're called childhood diseases. When you get measles, you get a high fever, a cough, and lots of red dots in your body, and have to stay in bed for 2 weeks. Some people also die."
Or get, like, I think you can get permanent, like, nerve damage from measles.
And then you get well again? Tim asks curiously. "Yes, but it's really important that you don't lower the fever with medicines and that you drink lots of fluids. The fever is important so the body can actually fight the disease. Once you get over it, you're even healthier than you were before," the father replies. "Not always the case. And if your fever is running way too high, no, you need to reduce it because that can damage your fucking brain." Oh, I didn't show you guys the picture. Sorry, class. That's the picture for the next one. The next day, Mom takes Sarah and Tim downtown. They buy a sleeping bag and a jackknife from her trip to scout camp. Wait, did the troop say, "Fuck it, you're not vaccinated, but come anyway"? That's not cool. I'd be pissed off if I was in a troop with, like, some kids and one of them didn't have vaccinations and they just let him come anyway.
They haven't gone yet, so she hasn't had the opportunity to take her vaccination record and say, "Hey, I'm not actually vaccinated. Can I still go?"
Sarah's mother calls the troop leader on her cell phone. He's very upset and can't understand why Sarah isn't vaccinated. He tells her that her daughter really needs to have a vaccination record for insurance purposes, completely reasonably, might I add. Sarah notices that something is wrong and asks her mother, "Mom, what did the troop leader say?" "He said that he really needs a vaccination record from you," her mother explains. Sarah is really worried that maybe she won't be able to go to camp after all, and looks sadly at her new sleeping bag and the new jackknife. Her mother lays a calming hand on her shoulder and explains, "I'll send a letter for you to the troop leader. The letter will explain that you aren't vaccinated and are not to be vaccinated at camp either." Okay, lady, this is a fake scenario, so she's probably going to get to go and it's going to be awful. But
if this was a good book,
they're not going to vaccinate your kid at camp. They're just not going to let her go and endanger other people. Moron.
If this was a good book, it would end with Sarah not getting vaccinated and then dying from some disease at camp.
Yeah. Picture for this page. That weekend, Grandma Helen comes to visit them. She was one of the first Girl Scouts. How old is your grandma? How old are the Girl Scouts?
I don't know. Let me look. Uh, 1912.
Holy fuck, how old is your grandma? They were founded in 1912. Grandma Helen takes the kids hiking in the woods and shows Sarah and Tim wonderful tricks. She can weave many blades of grass into knots that would hold really well, but are easy to untie. She also knows signs for communicating in the forest without speaking a word. Then she makes a noise with her hands and her mouth that sounds like a real owl. Grandma, you're the best. Sarah and Tim are impressed, because only Grandma Helen can do things like that. In the evening, the kids insist that Grandma Helen take them to bed and read them a story. They know that their grandma always tells really spooky stories that she heard in Girl Scout camp back when she was a girl. They love the stories and always listen to her with wide-eyed excitement. This page has nothing to do with vaccinations. If I'm the editor, I'm ripping this page out. Picture for the next. Later, the grown-ups sit in the living room and talk about vaccination. Sarah has secretly snuck out of her room and listens in the hallway to everything they say. No one can force you to vaccinate the children, Grandma Helen exclaims. You have a vaccine exemption for them. Thank God. Most of the states still have the legal right to opt out of using vaccines. Most people don't know this and are being scared into getting their kids vaccine. Grandma Helen, how many of the kids you went to school with in 1912 had polio? What are you talking about? God, no.
These kids need to see what an iron lung looked like.
Yeah. Grandma says to Dad, you weren't vaccinated either when you had measles. Nobody got upset about it. Nowadays, when people have measles, everyone seems to think they have a terribly dangerous disease. People even say that only a vaccine can protect you from it. Yeah, because that's the case. Either you get it and get the antibodies, or you get the vaccine and get the antibodies. And then you don't have to have the disease. It's great. Isn't technology magic?
It's beautiful. Vaccines were the best, advancement in medical technology ever to occur.
What about antibiotics?
I think vaccines are better than I
Yeah.
like the invention of vaccines more than antibiotics.
Okay.
I stan a vaccine.
Then Grandma explains why she didn't vaccinate Dad. Her best friend's child became very sick after a vaccination.
Okay, there's a 2-week period after you get vaccinated where your immune system hasn't built up enough of the, killer T cells, the B cells, the things that go and attack the virus. It hasn't built enough. It's not spread out through your body. You don't have them sequestered away in your lymph nodes yet. So you can still get sick in those 2-week period. That's why some people will get the flu vaccine and then they'll get the flu, even if the flu vaccine is really working really well that year. So I'm done.
You should be my producer. Look up stuff for me, and you can bring your knowledge base in.
Yeah, I haven't brushed up on my immunobiology recently, so.
Yeah. Picture for this page, classroom. Sarah is in class with Mrs. Potter, her math teacher. She chews on her pencil and thinks about what else she might need for scout camp. Suddenly, she realizes that she has no sleeping mat. She looks around at her classmates. Her gaze stops at her best friend Laura, who sits diagonally behind her. She remembers that Laura often goes camping with her parents and can surely lend her a sleeping mat. She quickly writes a short note. Do you have a sleeping mat I can use? And slips it secretly to Laura. Laura reads the note and nods happily at Sarah. Luckily, she has an extra mat that Sarah can borrow. Now, hopefully, nothing else can get in the way of the exciting trip. The bell rings and Mrs. Potter calls after the children. Don't forget, the school doctor is coming tomorrow. All of you need to bring your vaccination records. She sounds like that for some reason.
She looked really young. Is she a smoker?
Yes.
Okay.
Here's the picture for the next page. Sarah and Tim are visiting Laura today. On Wednesday, Sarah's mother works, so the two of them always go over to Laura's house. After lunch, Laura tells her mother that the school doctor is coming the next day, so she needs to bring her vaccination record with her. God, Sarah, did you not fucking listen the last time vaccination records came up? You don't have one. Yes, I already got it for you, sweetheart. It's with the other things for camp, Laura's mother replies. Oh God, did she forge a vaccination record? You see, Laura is vaccinated. Oh, no. It's the other mom. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I misread that. You see, Laura is vaccinated against everything, she adds, so she won't get terrible diseases like measles. People don't talk like this, unprovoked. Tim, who was listening to the whole time, suddenly asked, is Max vaccinated too? Max is Laura's little brother. Yes, he's also getting all his vaccinations, Laura's mother replies. Sarah slides down a bit in her chair out of embarrassment and then says, I'm not vaccinated. There's really bad stuff in vaccines and they can make you really sick. That's why my parents don't want me to be vaccinated. Laura's mother stares at her in surprise and then mumbles, well, hopefully you'll never get sick.
Okay, so...
Honest answer from Laura's mom.
The thing about vaccines is there used to be mercury in vaccines, but I think it's trimethylmercury, which isn't mercury like periodic table mercury. So it's not bioavailable. It doesn't like bind to things because it can't. It's a non-bioavailable form of mercury. So it just passes through you. But people were so scared that there were mercury, they took them out of most vaccines because people were so paranoid. Even though it does nothing. It's like, you know, table salt. Sodium plus chloride, put them together, they make table salt. If they're separate, one is very explosive and one is a poisonous gas. Just because there's something in, like, a whole molecule doesn't mean that it's gonna have the same properties as if it was just separate.
Sarah and Tim are waiting for Dad in the front yard by the garage. Sarah's bicycle needs to be fixed before she can take it to guide and scout camp. She's already cleaned her bike, and now Dad needs to adjust the brakes. They're not working quite right. Dad puts his briefcase down and fetches the tool case from the garage. Then he adjusts the brakes and tells them that a well-functioning bicycle is like a healthy body. When you give your body what it needs, it works just great. Tim asks what he should give his body. Good food, exercise, and sunshine. Their father winks at him. When he finishes adjusting the brakes, they go inside together. I want this book to end with someone catching polio so bad.
Yeah.
At the end, they don't go to scout camp and instead they go to a third world country, catch polio. In Sarah's room, Sarah's mother has already started packing her things for scout camp. Will all of that really fit into my backpack, Sarah wonders? That's a lot of stuff. I also brought a sleeping mat from Laura. Together, Mom and Sarah go down the list of everything Sarah should take on the trip. Other than the vaccination record, we have everything, Mom declares. Tomorrow I'm supposed to bring my vaccination record to school. The school doctor is coming, Sarah tells her mother nervously. Mom gives her the letter that she has already prepared. The letter states that Sarah is not vaccinated and therefore has no vaccination record. If the school doctor has any questions, tell him to call me, the mother says.
Okay, I want to say something. So, Sushi Mom just talked about having hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I also have hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So does my younger brother and my cousin. So, hi. I can twist my hands all the way around.
Tim would also like to go to scout camp. He draws a picture and hangs it with Mom. Then he explains to her excitedly what the wonderful thing he just drew is. These are the tents and these are the kids playing tag with the dog. First the dog has to catch the kids and then the kids get to catch the dog. Getting salty camp flashbacks. Have you seen that video we did a long time ago?
Yes.
Oh. Also in the forest, there are lots of nice sticks for the dog to play with. At night when the kids are sleeping, the dog keeps watch, so no wild animals can approach. I think I'll also draw a bonfire in the picture, then everyone can warm up if it gets too cold at night. Mom chuckles. And what's that? She asks as she points to a yellow rectangle. That's Laura's vaccination record, because she's taking it with her to camp. This is, God, this book would be so much shorter if they just cut out all the bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to pretend this is an actual children's book and not straight up anti-vax propaganda. Okay. The next day, the school doctor is doing checkups in the gym. One after another, the children go to see the doctor. Sarah comes out crying, so Mrs. Potter runs over to comfort her. Sarah, whatever is the matter? She asks in a concerned voice. The school doctor said I have to get vaccinated. I'm the only one in the class who doesn't have a vaccination record, but I told him I don't want to be vaccinated, in all caps. So he sent me out again. Mrs. Potter puts her arm around Sarah's shoulders and says, You're completely right. You don't have to be vaccinated. If you and your parents don't want it, I'll take care of things. Tell your mother to call me. Children do basically what their parents tell them and believe the things their parents tell them. This is disgusting. These poor fictional children. And no, angry mom, you don't get to endanger others because of your dumb fuck beliefs. Look at that mom yelling into that phone. Good job, Karen. You're nailing it. When Sarah gets home again in the evening, she's still very upset. I don't want to be vaccinated, she says over and over again. Mom calls Mrs. Potter and thanks her for comforting Sarah so lovingly. She then calls the school doctor. Mom is very angry and fuming. She asks the school doctor why he told Sarah that she had to be vaccinated. She also explains to him that she has a vaccine exemption for Sarah.
It's blurry.
She also explains to him that she has a vaccination exemption for Sarah and had opted out of using vaccinations. After a long while, the telephone argument is over. He'll leave us alone now, she tells Sarah in an exhausted voice. I like that the book has the forethought to be like, we need a page to explain to children why their mothers call and screech at doctors about how they aren't going to vaccinate the children, because it's such a common occurrence, apparently. On Saturday, the time had finally come. The trip to scout camp can begin. The kids are all gathered in front of the school. Sarah is very excited. This will be the first time she'll be away from home for an entire week. She's also looking forward to telling stories late into the night with Laura in their tent. Their bags are loaded onto the bus and their bicycles go in the trailer. Sarah and Laura search quickly for a place where they can sit together for the whole trip. Mom gives the troop leader the letter explaining that Sarah must not be vaccinated, just in case something should happen. There's no situation where your kid's gonna get randomly vaccinated on a camping trip.
No.
That's insane.
Unless you give the camping trip people like a thing saying that they're the guardians of the kids for like the week that they're at camp. Then yeah, they could get like medical stuff, but it's mostly used for emergencies.
Mom gives the troop leader the letter. Oh yeah. At the end, everyone waves and the long anticipated trip can finally begin.
I remember I was 10 years out of date for my tetanus booster, and I went to the hospital for a random reason, and they were just going around giving out tetanus vaccines for anybody that needed them, and I was like so happy that I didn't have to go to the doctor specifically to get a vaccine because I didn't have a doctor at the minute. Yep. So it was nice.
Scout camp is really wonderful. Laura and Sarah enjoy the many hours that they got to spend together. The best part is always sitting together around the campfire in the evening. Then the troop leader plays wonderful songs on the guitar, and they all get to sing along. It's so much fun that they forget the time and sit at the fire until sunset. Every evening, one of the children gets to tell a spooky story. Sarah knows so many spooky stories from her grandma that she's asked to tell many scary stories in a row. Sarah is in the middle of telling the story about the wolf that lives in the forest and is sneaking up to the camp. I just realized I didn't have to be wearing those headphones because I was done listening to Genius. Suddenly, a rustling comes from the Christian's tent. The kids stop talking and glance fearfully at the tent. There's something breathing loudly outside. The kids cry out in fear. The wolf! The wolf! The troop leader goes over bravely to the wiggling tent. Suddenly, everyone hears a loud yelp and something darts out of the tent. Laura begins to laugh and points at the creature. It's Max, the troop leader's dog. He's such a greedy fellow that he just ate Christian's chocolate. Oh no! The dog shouldn't eat chocolate! Oh no! The kids laugh in relief and are glad that it wasn't a wolf after all. Is anyone going to take this dog to the vet? He just ate a bunch of chocolate.
They're just going to let him die. They don't trust medical interventions for anything.
Yeah. 3 days before the end of camp, Laura suddenly gets sick. Oh, it's going to be, the one with you thought the vaccinations would save you, but you get sick anyway. Fuck this book. 3 days before the end of camp, Laura suddenly gets sick. She has a fever and very red eyes. The troop leader immediately calls Laura's parents to come take her home. A few hours later, Laura's mother arrives at the scout camp and carries her ill daughter to the car. Sarah has tears in her eyes and is sad. It is so wonderful here with Laura, she tells Laura's mother, and without her it's only half as much fun. Who will share my tent with me now? She was sad. She waves sadly at Laura as they drive away and wipes away a few tears. Laura also has tears in her eyes and is sad that the exciting trip is now over for her. On the other hand, she's happy that her mommy is nearby again and can take care of her. Laura, in this car, Sarah is a bit scared to sleep alone in her tent because she is used to sharing it with Laura. They always told stories and giggled far into the night. Sarah tells the troop leader that she doesn't want to sleep alone, and he has a wonderful idea. How would you feel about sharing a tent with Max, my dog? He hasn't moved since he ate the chocolate, but I think he's okay. Oh, that would be great. He can keep me warm and watch over me, and I can tell him scary stories because he never gets scared, Sarah answers excitedly. Sarah spends the next few nights with Max. The two of them sleep snuggled close together. Max is so cuddly and warm that Sarah doesn't even need a sleeping bag. After a week away, Sarah returns from scout camp. Everyone has come together to greet her. Even Grandma Helen is there. Sarah's parents are surprised to see Sarah get out of the bus without Laura. Laura got sick. She had a fever and had to be picked up after only 4 days, she tells them excitedly. I have to go call her and ask how she's doing. On the way home, Sarah's eyes sparkle as she tells them all about scout camp. I wasn't homesick at all, she says proudly. It was just sad that Laura had to go, but I found a great replacement for the nights in my tent. Max, the troop leader's dog, he cuddled with me the whole time and watched over me. It was great, and I got to endanger all the kids. Hooray! When Sarah gets home, she immediately calls her friend Laura. Laura has been sick in bed for days. She has red spots all over and is still running a fever. I have measles, Laura tells Sarah. The doctor was here today. How can that be? I thought you were vaccinated, Sarah wonders. No one is saying if you're vaccinated for one thing, you can't ever get sick for some other reason, from some other disease. Ugh. How can, yeah. The doctor said that you can get measles even if you're vaccinated against it. Yeah, because it can mutate further in populations that are unvaccinated, and by the time it gets back around to vaccinated people, it's new, and the antibodies they have from the vaccination don't work anymore. Am I wrong? Okay, never mind. You weren't listening.
You want to repeat it?
Basically, I was saying, if a bunch of people are unvaccinated, if measles spreads around those people and then mutates once it gets back to people who are vaccinated, it's possible that their antibodies will no longer.
Yeah.
How does that even work? Sarah asks with exasperation. I don't know, Laura answers. I'm sure my grandma can explain it to me. She knows everything, Sarah declares. And they're there talking on the phone. The hilarious unintended story, as far as I consider it, is Sarah became an unwitting carrier for measles and then transferred it to her friend without her.
Oh, probably. I had a dream last night that I got vaccinated for the coronavirus, so if that tells you anything about how much I want there to be a vaccine for it.
Yeah. Later, Sarah, Tim, and Grandma are sitting together in the living room. Sarah tells Grandma that Laura got measles despite being vaccinated. She doesn't understand how that could have happened. You see, Grandma says, so it goes. Even when you're vaccinated, you're still not 100% protected against getting an illness. No one claimed that's how it worked. Airbags don't guarantee you're gonna survive a car crash. You still use them. But why should someone get vaccinated if it doesn't even really protect them? Again, straw man, it does. It just isn't 100%. Nothing is 100%. Often exacerbated by people like this who allow diseases to continue to spread and multiply and mutate.
Like, the fail rate for vaccines is so low. Like, yeah, you can get sick with something that you're not vaccinated for. It doesn't matter. Like, a cold, you can't vaccinate for colds because there are, a ton of different viruses that cause colds. But if you're getting measles, either your vaccine hasn't been, you haven't gotten your booster shot, and so you don't have all the antibodies that you need still, which the measles vaccine, you don't even need a booster shot. At least I don't think so. This makes me so mad.
Oh, my little one, I'll explain that to you later. You're still a bit young to understand how the healthcare system works, Grandma replies with a heavy heart. Tim runs to the kitchen and tears his picture down that he drew before Sarah went to scout camp. He takes a marker and crosses out Laura's vaccination record. Grandma and Sarah laugh. In the evening, Grandma puts the two children to bed and tells them another of her famous ghost stories from her days as a Girl Scout. And that's it. And Laura has measles because her friend Sarah probably gave it to her. That's the end of the book. It is a bunch of legal shit at the end, though. Look. Oh, this is, it's got a whole, like, here's why vaccines are bad.
Oh, let me see it.
I'm-
It lists all the vaccines you should get as a child and, like, gives reasons why you shouldn't get them. Vaccinate your freaking kids, people. And get yourself vaccinated. Make sure you're up to date with your boosters and stuff.
Let's see what stuff we got down here. That's just a Harry Potter book. 40 Days of Doubt. Devotion for the Skeptic.
How to talk so your husband will listen. For when you have a husband, Hannah.
That doesn't respect you as a human being, apparently.
Yes.
Oh no, is this written? Oh, it's written by a man. Oh no.
Oh, it's written by a man?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
What's the difference between a traditional horse trainer and a horse whisperer? The difference is that a whisperer gets a PhD in the animal, studies the animal, and communicates in the animal's language rather than trying to get the animal to become more like a person. The trainer simply demands the horse comply and fit into its world. In essence, the trainer creates an obedient, castrated, browbeaten pet. Some men married a long while to ultra-controlling women can relate to these geldings. Oh no. Stallions are often castrated to make them more gentle and compliant, but it takes away their... Oh, fuck this. You know what I want to look at? Since we've been watching a bunch of Mr. Atheist, let's take a look at Girl Defined.
Finally. You're not gonna look at the transformed wife? Or whatever she is? I think that's what her name is.
So for those of you who do not know, Girl Defined is a YouTube channel / ministry of two Christian women who have some very backwards views on relationships with men and women's roles within those relationships. Mr. Atheist has done many videos on this topic. Maybe I'm beating a dead horse here, but I kind of want to look at some of this stuff.
Who cares?
I remember
We
a
could
time
be
when I-
anti-girl.
Yeah. I'm just going to hold this up to my ear because I don't want... Let's see. I have this on, right? Yeah. Awesome ideas to bring joy to those around you. Hope for a girl with a canceled graduation. Date your future self in your mind. Oh, date with your future self in mind. Any of these look interesting to you guys? Any specific ones that you wanna...
Ooh, do I have to be a feminist to be pro-woman?
I don't want to do that one.
Come on! Come on, chat. Make her do this one.
What about sexual temptation in the mind? Ugh, where is it?
Embracing his design doesn't turn you into a doormat. The fear, like, well, if I embrace this, am I just going to be this wimpy doormat? God created us as women to be strong, compelling, influential, bold, smart, not so that we can pursue our own agendas, that we could use our lives to serve him, to build his kingdom, and to ultimately glorify him.
What's up, y'all? It's so good to see you
friends.
here today. We love that you stick around and that you come back video after video to be here.
Can I just say, I'm not a fan of, and this is why I'll never be popular on YouTube, but the YouTube that's like the upbeat music and it's like, hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're gonna be, no. Nope.
I'll be back.
Okay. What do you get me? Oh, would you get me some water? Thank you. Don't give me that look.
Here with us. Thank you so much. If you
Oh,
want to
don't I
support
have
us in a more
Elon
personal
Musk's
way
children's book? Yeah, but I'm gonna start streaming regularly, so I'll do that another time.
and join the Girl Defined fam, the sisterhood, head on over to patreon.com/girldefined, where you can really support us in a more personal way with $1 or $2 per video. And you can click the link below to join that and kind of get all of the details. And if you're like, this is a topic I am especially interested in today, we actually wrote a book, Girl Defined, God's Radical Design for Beauty, Femininity, and Identity, which just digs way deeper into
Hey gang, recently, and by
that's a video commenting
the
on them.
topics of beauty, femininity, identity, all of that. So
it basically answers the question,
what is God's design for women? So if you're a skeptic or if you're like, yes, I want to dig deeper, we'll link this book again to still have womanhood. And we know that you're going to have people coming from different perspectives, and that's awesome. We're so grateful that whichever perspective you come from and whichever perspective you land on at the end of this video, thanks for joining this conversation. Seriously, I think it's so important for us to openly dialogue about things, even if we disagree in the end, to still have the conversation. So we want to start off by saying that we are 100% pro-women. We believe that God designed women, has a beautiful plan for us. We want to see women thrive. We want to see women use their talents and gifts. We are strongly against any sort of abuse against women. We think that's horrible. And so we are pro-women, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But here's this question of, do I have to be a modern feminist in order to be pro-women? And I know that's a question a lot of you have asked and have wondered, because in this society that we live in today, I think that's kind of, there's some tension there. Like, is that possible? So we just want to say off the bat that regardless of your political views, your sexual views, religious views, whichever background you're coming from, even watching this video, I think something that we can all agree on, this is something that every single one of us as women, I think, can link arms and say that, yes, we want women to thrive. We want women to have happy lives.
I hate this. This has such, like, yes, girl boss vibes. And I want to die.
We want women to use their gifts and talents. We want women to be
I don't know what
loved,
sexual
cherished,
views
and valued.
means.
I think that's something that every single one of us can say, yes, we agree on that. Okay, so if we can all agree on that, then why is there so much disagreement?
Yes.
Why is there so much like tension and conflict? And I think it stems from not that we agree that we all want that for women, but how do we get that? What kind of ideologies, worldviews, beliefs do we have down here that are fueling our beliefs for how we're going to get these things that we say that we all value? And I think those differences of what we believe at the core is ultimately where some of our conflicts come from.
And this video, we're not really going to be digging into the past. Like, okay, here's the different waves of feminism and here's the history. Let's unpack that. So if you're like, I want that, this video it's not gonna be the one for you. Today we're mostly focusing on like right now, kind of modern feminism. How is it described? What are the views? What are the ideologies of today? So we're kind of staying in the very present moment right now. And actually, if you just, Google, research online, and you kind of look up what is feminism, what is modern feminism, here's a definition that we found that kind of encompasses kind of what you would find somewhat. Obviously, it can be described in different ways, but here's a general idea of what we found. Feminism is a range of social movements, political movements, and ideologies that aim to define, establish, and achieve the political, economic, personal, and social equality of the sexes. So a little bit vague, a little bit like what exactly?
That's not vague. It says exactly what it is. It's a movement striving towards equality based on gender. Just because it's like a sentence and a half long doesn't make it complicated or vague.
Exactly does that mean? Because I guarantee you, if you talk to 10 different women and you ask them what is modern feminism, you're probably going to get a little bit of a different answer.
Yeah, probably some variations. And
Yeah,
so
that.
with that, I think we need to ask the deeper question, like, okay, that's kind of like our modern society's definition. So what are these modern social
more
movements,
specific.
ideologies, and definitions? Like, if we had to unpack that,
Yes.
like as one friend says, if you dropped it on the floor and it broke into 10 pieces, like what would you see? What
are the
would
pieces?
those ideologies, definitions, and movements be? And I think at the end of the day, just like any ism, any movement, feminism is a value system. It values...
We're 4.5 minutes into this video, and so far all we've gotten is feminism as a value system. Get to the point, ladies.
Things, and those things have they for sure have changed over the different
Totally
waves.
evolved,
But for
yeah.
modern feminism today, what are the value systems for today? And we're talking mainstream feminism. Like you said, there are a million definitions if you talk to a million different people, literally. But the predominant mainstream value systems, what are those for today? And I think most of us would agree that the mainstream definitions or the mainstream values would be abortion on demand without limits, up to full term. That's something that feminism is really fighting for right now.
For sure.
Redefining marriage, family, and sexuality, sexual autonomy.
Redefining marriage. Yeah, okay. Allowing people to get married to people of the same gender as themselves is... Yep, that was 2015. Ladies, catch up. Oh, Kitty. Why, Kitty? Why?
Personal sovereignty in every area of life without accountability to God. Now, these are things that are big, weighty things, right? Political issues, movements. I mean, people stand on all sides of the spectrum, but I think for the most part, mainstream feminism, these are some of the values, the ideas that are upheld as this is what modern feminism is fighting for these things. And so with that in mind, I think it's really fair to say that feminism based on those modern values isn't actually a movement for every single woman, right? Because if it was a movement for every single woman, what about the women who don't see those things as what's going to achieve happiness, purpose, value, and worth for women? What if my worldview and my ideology isn't built on that value system? Then how can I embrace modern feminism? And so I think that just shows us that feminism isn't for every single woman, but for the modern women who embrace that value system.
I'm curious what they're going to say about the other things. The abortion one I understand, I don't agree with, but I understand because they're like fundamentalist Christians and they think that abortion is wrong like all the time. But the other ones, I'm curious how they're going to try and spin this.
Like, so what happens if we come from a different worldview? Can we still be pro-woman without necessarily embracing those ideas and those beliefs? Can we be pro-women?
Right.
Because it's kind of, the vibe is kind of like, well, if you don't embrace those ideas, you must not be pro-woman. But it's like, we're totally pro-women. We support women. We love women. You know, it's like,
want to
we're
see
for
women
those
thrive.
things.
It's not being pro-women if
and
you're
as
only
Christian
pro-women if they
women,
agree
we
with you
believe that
politically.
all women are created by God with worth and dignity, from the tiniest in the
Yes.
womb to the oldest, you know, up until their dying moments. We also believe that God loves us and cares about us more than any political party or social movement. So that's kind of the core of what we believe, but we don't embrace the...
In the Bible, which they believe is 100% infallible, women are given a value explicitly half that of a man. I'm talking in monetary value. Like, just for the record, this is what these two are talking about.
Those ideas, where are we coming from? That's where we're coming from.
Yeah, and like you said, we are women of faith. We are women whose value system isn't built off of our own ideologies, even off of history, even off of modern movements, but we believe that God's word is timeless and that he is our creator and designer and he has a good and beautiful plan for womanhood. But that begs the question, like, okay, well, is God pro-woman? Because if we're saying we believe in God and we say he has a good plan for women and it might be counter to what our modern value system is in our society, then is he really pro-woman? What does God say about womanhood?
Which is a fair question and something good to dig into.
We've got to look into it. So,
God specifically says you aren't allowed to be preachers, but you're doing it anyway. So are we really going to start taking it literally at this point? You've already kind of broken a big one.
So what does the Bible say about this? We can see in
Thou
Scripture,
shalt not
Revelation
suffer a
4:11
woman to
talks about the
teach.
fact that God
That's
made all things. He
that's a
made
thing in
every
the Bible.
human, every creature, mountains. He's the creator of the beautiful scenery that we see, of every single thing. He's the creator of all things. And he's the one that, because he's the creator, he's the one who sets the standard. Revelation 4:11 says, "Worthy are you, our Lord and God, to receive glory and honor and power. For you created all things, and by your will they existed and were created." So from the beginning, we're saying we're not God, we're not the judge, we're not the definer, we're not the creator. So we're going to submit ourselves to the one who created all things, the one who...
I hate this kind of thing too. What they're saying is, we're not the ones telling you women should be subservient to men. God is. Now this completely removes the fact that they are, of course, taking the Bible and interpreting it to say that. But instead of actually taking on the burden that they actually have, which is to say justify this belief, they're saying, well, it's just our belief because that's what God says, completely ignoring the fact that they had to come to those conclusions in some way, shape, or form, and therefore the burden is on them to come up with a reason that that is reasonable to say. Instead, they just take this scapegoat, and it's terribly deceptive.
Who receives the glory, honor, and power, for he created all things, and by his hand they exist. And so we're going to submit to what the creator says versus what the created thinks. And we see in Genesis 1, the very first book of the entire Bible, that God created the woman. The woman hits the scene with a bang in Genesis 1 and 2. She makes a pretty big statement because the man is like, whoa, like, who is this creature?
That's what?
Genesis 1:26 and 27, we see, "Then God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So giving mankind dominion to take care of the earth. So God created man in his own image, referring to mankind, so the man and woman.
Nope, he was talking about, the writers of the Bible were talking about man, as in men, as in Adam.
In the image of God, he created him, male and female, he created them. So from the very beginning, we see that we're not just random beings. We're not just women by accident, but we're created by a loving, intentional God who made men and women and designed us on purpose and for a good purpose.
Absolutely. We also see that God created us with value from the moment of conception. Not just women, but men and women. And I think,
oh, here comes the anti-choice rhetoric.
what value, does that
What
bring to
worth
someone?
and dignity.
Yeah, and dignity from, you don't have to arrive at a certain point to get worth and dignity. It's from the very, very, very beginning.
And you don't have to be a certain age to get worth and dignity.
Or you don't grow out of it. It's not like, well,
Yeah.
you're kind of, or I don't know, you don't have to like be at a certain level. It's like, it's for everyone. Psalm 139, 13 through 17 says, "For you," talking about God, "formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made." These words are just so beautiful,
Yeah.
speaking over like, this is what you are. Wonderful are your works, and my soul knows it very. We can't even see it,
Okay. I'm over this one. Sexual temptation in the mind. I'll watch this one. Is it gonna do the thing? There we
What's
go.
up, friends? Welcome to this edition of Car Conversations. It's actually just going to be me here, clearly, because we are still on lockdown, on quarantine, and
At least they're not anti-lockdown. That's nice. I'm a little surprised they're not like, we gotta let God.
can't sit here and be 6 feet away from whoever needs to do this with me. So you're just going to get me today, but it's going to be a good conversation between me and you, and we're going to be talking about this whole idea of sexual purity within the mind, within the heart. So not just what we do on the outside, but what's going on the inside. And I know as a Christian girl growing up, going to church, reading God's word, learning about his design for sex and intimacy and passion, and seeing his design as being amazing, seeing that God is pro-sex, pro-intimacy, he is for these things, but
God is not pro-sex, pro-intimacy. God of the Bible is pro-procreation, I would argue. But he's not ostensibly for, like, intimacy outside of the fact that it creates more people. He says be fruitful and multiply. He doesn't say like, get it on. Maybe if you want to use a condom, go for it. No.
But he has a good and right context in which for us to express them in. So his design isn't stifling, it isn't sexist, it isn't shame-filled, it's beautiful.
It is.
Beautiful.
Especially if you're Catholic.
It's amazing, but he's created a context within marriage for which we can thrive as we embrace that design and experience it like he intended. So all that to say, our thoughts, our mind can often be a battlefield where on the outside we look like, we're pursuing purity, we're trying, but then on the inside we have these thoughts bombard us, lustful thoughts, sexual struggles going on in the mind, and it can be so hard because the mind isn't something you can just shut off, right? And I've wrestled with this over the years, and by God's grace, he's given me victory in some of the battles that go on in my mind. But today, still, it doesn't matter if you're married or single, it's a battle that we all face. If you didn't catch our video that came out this past week, watch it, because we specifically dig into this topic of sexual desire in singleness. So how do you manage your sex drive, your sexual desires in singleness if you're seeking to honor God, and how you express that? So you're
masturbate.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Waiting, you're not having sex, you're not engaging in that until the right context comes in marriage. So what do you do with these desires? So check that out, because I think you'll find that really helpful. But I just want to continue the conversation in this video because a lot of you have questions. A lot of you just want some help. Like, yes, I see God's design. I want to honor him in my life. I want to pursue purity. I want to pursue holiness. I want to glorify God in my actions and in my heart, but it's so hard. And I totally get that. I am right there with you. So I'm actually just going to be sharing something that I wrote in Sex, Purity, and the Longings of a Girl's Heart. And
oh God, she wrote a whole book about sexual purity.
Did she? I knew they had a book together.
These are actually 5 strategies that have been super helpful for me in my battle for purity in my mind, in my heart. And in fact, this chapter is actually called The Secret Struggle Within Your Mind. And I think there's this, I don't know, I have felt it, this fear of wanting to be honest about our struggles that are secret, that no one else can see but us. And we just feel like, oh, if people really knew what I'm battling, if, I just don't want people to know what's really going on in my mind. But we want freedom. We don't want to be slaves to these thoughts, to these fantasies, to these lust-filled passions. We want to be free. We want to express it rightly. We want to honor God from the inside out, but we don't often ask for help. We don't reach out.
Get one of those rabbit vibrators.
So many times, but I have found there is so much power in bringing secret struggles to the light and getting honest, getting help, and just recognizing that you're not the only one. I'm not the only one. Every Christian seeking to honor God,
Tinder.
we struggle with these sinful desires.
Or whatever
We need
Christian
help, we need
Tinder is.
encouragement. So I hope that these strategies are helpful for you if you find yourself in that place where that battle is raging and you want to honor God in your mind as you pursue his design for sex and intimacy, as his design for purity. So I'm just going to run through these pretty quickly. You can grab a copy of this book if you want to dig in more deeply. But I think first we have to remember that purity isn't just about what we look like. It's not just about our actions. It's not just checking a box of doing the right thing. It flows from our hearts. It flows from a desire of wanting to honor God. So we really have to start there. So don't take this as just change your actions and then you'll be pure. We've got to start by saying, God, change my heart. Help me to desire your glory, to pursue holiness, to honor you from the inside out. Would you give me the strength? So it really has to come from a heart posture of humility and seeking God's help in this, because we can only do it for him and through his power. So the first thing that we're going to talk about in these strategies is, and this seems really basic, but purge. I mean, that's what we have right here on the page. Purge. You're like, purge what? What does that even mean? Essentially, something that I have found really helpful over the years is to go through all of my stuff, go through everything that I do in my life, and just look at anything, whether it's on my social media, movies or TV shows I'm watching, things I'm browsing on the internet, books I'm bringing into my house, places I'm going, people I'm interacting with, and just ask myself, am I making it extra hard to pursue purity by
basically, are there any hot dudes that I want to lick? What's that face for? Yeah, I've never seen abs, and you're just like, I want to lick those abs.
No, I'm not a muscly kind of person.
Okay. Well, lucky for you that I don't have abs then. Quite the opposite.
I wouldn't mind if you had abs. It's just not like, I don't know, that visual isn't appealing to me.
Okay.
Into my life intentionally that aren't actually helping me pursue a heart and mind of purity. In fact, this book that I'm reading, it's actually tempting me towards fantasies, towards lustful thoughts, towards impure thoughts, because it has a lot of sex scenes in it. It has a lot of emotional, arousing, sexual themes and stories, and it's just...
You're a human being. Sexual arousal is going to take place, girl defined. Why?
I think she's sexually arousing herself right now.
She's so repressed. Even the idea of titillation is titillating.
Yeah.
It's not helping me pursue a mind and heart of purity when I engage in that kind of content, or maybe someone you follow on social media or stuff you're engaging in as you search the internet. Just ask yourself, are there things in my life that I'm bringing in and engaging in that are not helping me? In fact, it's making it so much harder. I'm inviting temptation into my life on a regular basis. So purge, essentially, what I want to encourage you to do, and what I've done so many times, is to take inventory, kind of step.
Oh my god. This, I don't like watching girl defined videos because very specifically, like, oh look, Jake's doing a thing with Mr. Atheist here soon. They are very long-winded in the way they try and explain things, and they just seem to repeat themselves over and over.
They think that everybody wants to hear them just constantly talk.
Yeah, in fairness, I'm here, so I guess I'm guilty of the same thing, but,
At least you have some charisma.
I don't know about that one. What do you think? What does chat think I should do, or should that be it for the day? It's been 3.5 hours.
Has it really?
Yeah. In fairness, I started while you were still at the store, so. Kitty, kitty, kitty.
Ooh,
Let's not.
Something Scientology.
Oh. Like, what about it?
I don't know.
Okay, Kitty, come on. I'm afraid you're gonna knock over water and break my computer.
And my computer. Hi, Kiki. You're stuck now.
Is the AC installed? No, it is not.
Where's the missing wife of Scientology's ruthless leader?
Where?
One down.
Oh, I can't watch 60 Minutes. They'll copyright strike me. Oh, God. Joe Rogan. Oh, should we watch the Joe Rogan Elon Musk thing from recently?
Also, don't worry. I'm going to help her install the AC when it's not raining outside.
I fucking hate Elon Musk.
I also hate Elon Musk. I like electric cars, though. I have one.
Yeah. Not a Tesla.
Not a Tesla. Absolutely not a Tesla.
I'm not going to watch this whole thing, but I'll watch little snippets of this.
Welcome back.
Joe
There we go,
Rogan,
Gabe.
someone said this to me the other day, or I read this online, and I can't think it. It's perfect. Joe Rogan is basically Gwyneth Paltrow for men.
I could just imagine him being sold by Goop.
Yeah.
And it's like the tagline is like the Dove body wash for men or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like Gwyneth Paltrow for men.
Yeah. Oof.
So he sticks a jade egg up his ass. Probably.
Honestly, his jade egg up the ass is the fact that he constantly tells people to do DMT. He thinks recreational drugs are really, really good for you mentally. Some of them may be in a therapeutic setting, but I would not recommend people to start taking hallucinogenic drugs at home to have some kind of profound experience.
Also, it's not safe to put a jade egg up your ass. It doesn't have like the taper that. Yeah, don't do that. Only use anal safe toys.
See you, and congratulations.
Thank you.
You will never forget what is going on in the world when you think about when your child is born. You will know for the rest of this child's life, you were born during a weird time.
That's for sure.
That is for sure. Probably the weirdest that I can remember.
Yeah. And he was born on May the 4th.
And that's hilarious, too.
Yeah.
May the 4th be with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Has to be.
That had to be on purpose, right? He had his wife induced on May the 4th because Star Wars Day, and Elon Musk is a husk of a man. Yes, he's like a scarecrow stuffed with memes and fellow kids stuff.
Yeah, he for sure had her induced on that day.
Hopefully, I sure hope so.
Perfect.
Yes.
I mean, that was the perfect day for you.
What do you have?
And then, how do you say the name?
Well,
is it a placeholder?
And first of all, my partner is the one that actually mostly came up with the name.
Congratulations to her.
Yeah, she's great at names. So,
for those of you who didn't see Elon Musk's kid's name, let me pull it up. Elon Musk kid name. Elon Musk's kid's name is this. It's like XAEA12 Musk. Yeah.
I mean, it's just X, the letter X. And then the AE is like pronounced Ash.
Wait, what's playing? Oh, God.
Yeah. And then A12 is my contribution.
Oh, why A12?
Archangel 12, the precursor to the SR-71.
Oh, did she have this? Yeah, she can't have that. That's
true.
That is not for
kiddies.
kiddies.
I'm not familiar with it. I know what the SR-71 is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what that is. But
so the SR-71 came from a CIA program called Archangel.
Oh.
So the Archangel Project.
Oh.
And then Archangel 12.
Oh, wow, what a dope-looking plane.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, as a person who's very much into aerial travel, as you are, that's perfect.
It's pretty great.
No, it's not perfect, Joe Rogan. It's fucking awful, and that kid's going to get made fun of.
Does it feel strange to have a child while this craziness is going? Does it feel you've had children before? Is this any weirder?
It's actually, I think it's better being older and having a kid. I appreciate it more. Yeah. Babies are awesome.
They are pretty awesome.
They're awesome. Yeah.
When I didn't have any of my own, I would see other people's kids, and I didn't not like them.
Sure.
But I wasn't drawn to them.
Sure.
But now when I see little people's kids, I'm like, oh, I think of them as like these little love packages.
Yeah, the little love bugs.
Yeah, it's just you think of them differently when you see them come out and then grow and then eventually start talking to you. Like your whole idea what a baby is very different.
Yeah.
So now as you get older and get to appreciate it as a mature, fully formed adult, it must be really pretty wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful. It's great. But babies are awesome.
They are.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. I mean, also I've spent a lot of time on AI and neural nets, and so you can sort of see the kind of the brain develop, which is an AI neural net is trying to simulate what a brain does, basically, and you can sort of see it learning very quickly. It's just wow.
See things so you're talking about the neural net. You're not talking about an actual baby.
I'm talking about an actual baby.
But both of them.
Yes, but the word neural net comes from the brain. It's like a net of neurons. So,
Elon pretending to be smart is my least favorite fucking thing in the world. We call it a neural net because your brain is like a net of neurons. Yeah. Gotcha, Elon. Shut the fuck up and write a check to the actual smart people, rich boy.
Yeah. Humans are the, original gangster neural net.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
So when you're programming artificial intelligence, or you're working with artificial intelligence, are they specifically trying to mimic the developmental process of a human brain?
In a lot of ways.
I don't know why they would.
That are different.
This is the thing with Joe Rogan. Why is Joe Rogan asking Elon Musk this? Elon Musk is not someone in AI development. He's not a doctor of any sort of like. He's just some asshole with money.
Yeah.
I hate it so much. He's somewhat of a programmer because he came up with one of the early companies that got absorbed by PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. He's not fucking Tony Stark. I hate this shit so much.
I swear to God, he pays people to pretend like he's Tony Stark, though.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
You fucked that up.
Yeah, well, it snapped back together. It's fine. It's the future, kids. Drugs are digital now.
And legal in Michigan, where we are.
That's important to point out. Okay. Oh, that's much better.
Oh, God.
Someone asked where the weed was. They're talking about Elon, but I guess I'll suffice. Yikes.
An analogy that's often used is like, we don't make a submarine swim like a fish, but we take the principles of how, of hydrodynamics and apply them to a submarine.
I've always wondered, as a layperson, do you try to achieve the same results as a human brain but through different methods, or do you try to copy the way a human brain achieves results?
I mean, the essential elements of...
Again, Elon Musk doesn't know any of this. I'm skipping ahead to some other topic.
Reverse those steps and go back and forth and go all over the place.
Like a neural net. It's not...
It's, yeah, it's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, I would imagine, like, the thought of programming something would come from a guy like yourself. Like, why are you doing that?
I'm slightly sad about it, actually. But...
Well, if you're sad about it, why are you doing it?
I think possessions kind of weigh you down. They're kind of an
says the billionaire who's about to get the largest CEO compensation package in the history of the world. I'm not kidding. Please look it up. Elon Musk. Possessions weigh you down, says most highly paid CEO in the history of the world. I can't fucking believe this shit. There are richer people than Elon Musk, but the one-time payout he's about to get for Tesla is insane.
I have never heard Elon Musk talk, like his voice. I've never heard his voice.
Yeah.
He doesn't sound like how I thought he would sound.
What do you think he would sound like?
I have no idea. He has like a softer voice. I assumed he'd sound more angry.
Yeah. Crimson 11, gotta head out. Good evening, and yay for more Hannah streams. Thanks. I hope to see you back next time, which will maybe be tomorrow, which would be good. I gotta start doing this much more often so I can get partner status. And also just because it's a good thing for me to do.
He'll say, "Hey, billionaire, you got all this stuff." Like, well, now I don't have stuff. Now what are you gonna do?
Attack vector meaning like people target it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. But you're obviously you're gonna rent a place?
Yeah.
Okay. And get rid of everything except clothes?
No, I said like almost everything. So it's like
keep a couple Teslas.
Yeah, sure. Obviously, Tesla kind of have to. Test product and stuff. Yeah, those things that have sentimental value for sure. Keeping those,
Oh my fucking god! This is why one of the other reasons I hate Joe Rogan. He just completely buys anything anyone sitting across from him believes. So like Elon Musk is like, I'm gonna sell all my possessions, and instead of questioning him about the validity of that claim, Joe Rogan's just like, no shit, bro. Okay, you want to talk about doing DMT? Fuck off, Joe Rogan. God. Have a little bit of skepticism in your interviews.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, be fine.
Yeah, you could always buy more stuff if you don't like it.
Suppose so.
Yeah, I mean, from the money that you sell all your stuff, you could buy new stuff. But do you feel like people define you by the...
Elon Musk is under the impression that liquidating his assets and still maintaining a hold on the liquidity is somehow a net gain for him in public, because people have been talking about how he wants his workers to go back to work despite the inherent risk during the COVID outbreak. And Elon's like, no, I'm not gonna... I'm gonna sell all my houses. Okay, you're still gonna have the money from the houses. You're probably making a profit. And even if you aren't, you're a billionaire. You can't pretend to be this, oh, I sold all my possessions like a fucking John Lennon thing. Dumb.
The fact that you're wealthy and that they define you in a pejorative way.
For sure. I mean, not everyone, but
right.
You know, there's for sure in recent years, billionaire has become a pejorative.
It is pejorative. You have too much money to fucking live. You should not be allowed to have that much money. No individual in this country, on this planet, should have that much money or power. And yes, I'm aware that even if you're a billionaire, most of your assets aren't liquid. I don't care. I'm talking about that too. You should not be allowed to hold that much power and stake in companies, including your liquid wealth on top of that you have a value of over $1 billion. It's too much power for literally anyone to have.
So it's like that's a bad thing. Which I mean, I think doesn't make a lot of sense in most cases. If you basically organized a company, how does this wealth arise? It's if you organize
your parents got an emerald mine
to produce
in South Africa
and services that
during
are better
apartheid,
than what existed before, and you have some ownership in that company, then that essentially gives you the right to allocate more capital. So there's a conflation of consumption and capital allocation. So let me take Warren Buffett, for example. And to be totally frank,
he's about to talk about the fact that, like, my cash isn't liquid. I just have a lot of power in companies that can then use capital. Yes, that's what we're talking about. When you're a billionaire, we're not just talking about the fact that we think you own $1 billion worth of assets that are physical objects you own. We are also talking about the stake you hold in companies and the power that entails for you to then, as a company, decide where your money in that company goes toward research, development, anything like that, marketing, whatever you're deciding to pursue as a company. That's power vested in you through the shares you own of the company that have a monetary value that goes into the valuation of yourself as an individual.
Not his biggest fan.
I don't understand Joe Rogan. Like, he was gonna vote for Bernie Sanders, and yet he's having Elon Musk. Like, I don't know. It's just like polar opposites.
Joe Rogan's a fucking druggy loser. I don't know what to... Like, he's done a lot of stuff. And he's been a successful comedian. He's been a TV show host on stuff like Fear Factor. But the dude just is the most credulous motherfucker I've ever seen. He will accept anything anyone currently in front of him is saying.
Like Donald Trump.
Yeah. It's really stupid. Kiki, what you doing? Yes. He has power over the means of production. Yes.
He does a lot of capital allocation, and he reads a lot of sort of annual reports of companies and all the accounting, and it's pretty boring, really. And he's trying to figure out does Coke or Pepsi deserve more capital? I mean, it's kind of a boring job if you ask me.
Okay, but you're. It'd be like a king being like, oh, all I do all day is decide the laws and what everyone gets to do and how society functions. It's kind of a boring clerical job, really. Like, no, motherfucker. Do you not understand? It comes from such a severe place of, like, privilege to not understand how much better your life is in that situation than of the average person who has to work for these goddamn oligarchs.
It's still a thing that's important to figure out, like which is a company deserving of more or less capital? Should that company grow or expand? Is it making products and services that are better than others or worse? And if a company is making compelling products and services, it should get more capital, and if it's not, it should get less. or go out of business.
Well, there's a big difference too between someone who's making an incredible amount of money
likes it behind the
designing
monitor.
and engineering
That's my mouse.
fantastic products versus someone who's making an incredible amount of money by investing in companies or moving money around in the stock market or doing things along those lines. It's a different thing, and to put them all in the same category seems it's very simple. And as you pointed out, it's an attack vector.
Yeah, for sure.
It is an attack vector. You were absolutely correct. A very well-deserved attack vector.
I mean, I think
diameter device, electrodes be inserted, and they will find their way
like tiny wires, basically.
Tiny wires.
Tiny wires.
And they'll find their way to specific areas of the brain to stimulate.
No, you literally put them where they're supposed to go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you insert.
How long will these wires be?
And someone and having them be healthy and concept.
Yeah.
And a feeling.
But the fact that a human did it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that it'll be like electronic music? Like people won't appreciate it like they appreciate a slide guitar?
I like electronic music.
I do too.
Yeah.
Well, you make it. I know you like it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I hope the future is more
music
fun
is
and
awful.
interesting.
Yeah.
And we should try.
Should we listen to a Musk original?
Yeah.
This is a song Elon Musk produced in last year, R.I.P. Harambe, despite the fucking fact that Harambe was a meme from like 3 or 4 years ago.
And we thinking about you. R.I.P. Harambe, sipping on some Bombay. We on the way to heaven. Amen, amen. R.I.P. Harambe, smoking on some strong and Gorilla Zoo. And we thinking about you. All we ever do, thinking about you. We back at the zoo, man.
Yes, Elon Musk really produced this. He's not the one speaking, but he is the one who produced it.
Sipping on some Bombay, we on the way to heaven. Amen, amen. R.I.P. Harambe, smoking on some strong and Gorilla Zoo, and we thinking about you. R.I.P. Harambe, sipping on that Bombay, we thinking about you. Amen, amen. R.I.P. Harambe.
There's only 20 seconds left.
Ay, we love you, and we thinking about you.
Oh yeah, Musk wants to be a Zoomer so bad.
In the zoo, we love you. Harambe, that's strong. In the zoo, we love you.
This is another one he did. I'm not gonna make you listen to the whole 4 minutes of this. Yeah, not good. Hey, kitty. Hi. Is there anything else I should look at or whatever before I sign off for the day? I'm asking both you and the viewers at home.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll see if anyone else has anything. If not, I'll sign off for the day and I'll get back on tomorrow to continue more of this. To the ContraPoints video? Oh, I'm not going to watch a whole ContraPoints video. Her videos are like an hour and a half. I love ContraPoints, but... Plus, I find the whole... I don't know. Like, if I'm reacting to someone I disagree with and want to, like, counter their points, yeah. But I don't like to just watch videos that I mostly agree with and be like, yeah, good point. I don't know.
Let's watch something fun.
Like what?
I don't know. Some cooking thing. I don't know. Bon Appetit has good.
Let me see what's on Reddit. Or no, let me go to... What is the name of the site I'm thinking of?
I have no idea.
You buy, like, crafts and stuff.
Etsy.
Let's look for weird stuff on Etsy.
Ooh, Father's Day card for Joe Exotic.
Yeah. Tiger King was fucking fantastic, by the way, to anyone who didn't see it. Please check it out. Let's look at wedding stuff. But, like, really bad stuff, maybe. Wedding. There's gotta be, like, a... Is there, like, a sort by? Top customer reviews, but then we'll go to the very back.
Then...
So it's like the worst customer reviews.
Yeah.
Oh, there. Okay. Jojo Ziwa Cake Topper. That's copyright infringement. This is literally just a picture someone printed off their computer and...
Yeah.
Oh, boy. This one's pretty fucking fantastic. Friendship ended with Jojo Ziwa. Now Milani's my best friend. Would you like a cake topper that says Kenneth?
Yeah, totally.
I kind of want that. This is copyright infringement too. This is not an official Pokemon Pokeball. No.
Ooh, maybe I'll see something really bad and I'll buy it for my best friend's wedding.
Yeah. That's fine. I love Etsy, and I don't like give a fuck about the copyright infringement, but it is funny just how rampant the absolute deluge of authorized products there are. Like, look at these little Disney Mickey Mouse things. That's copyright infringement. Are people really throwing, like, quarantine birthday parties?
Fucking Insta people. Just think of a wedding theme and type in the theme, like a really bad wedding theme.
Are there any Donald Trump wedding things?
Oh, there was a Donald Trump wedding.
You are a great father-in-law, really fantastic, very fantastic, so special. Everyone agrees, believe me. That's what I do. I tweet and I know things. That's a Donald Trump no. That's a quote from Game of Thrones, which was originally That's What I Do. I drink and I know things, but they've changed it to Donald Trump.
He does claim to know things a lot.
Yeah. Oof. Oh. Oh my god. I want to know the person who unironically owns this piece of garbage.
Your dad?
That's true. That's actually not true. My dad gets drunk on vodka in plastic cups, like the classy gentleman he is. Lots of coffee mugs. That's a house I'm running away from. That's a house where they're gonna skin you and wear your face. Oh my god, look at this one. Jesus is my savior. Trump is my president.
Oh gosh. These people don't realize that Trump is definitely not a Christian.
Yep. I water my tree with liberal tears.
We're gonna get a real Christmas tree this year.
Oh, I don't want to clean up all that.
I'll do it.
Oh god, the Trumpisher? You could have had it be the Trumpunisher. His last name ends with a P. Idiots.
Somebody linked a thing. I don't know.
Oh, let me look. Hold on. Doot.
Oh. That is sad. Women for Trump, face mask.
Oh boy, the irony.
Yeah.
This is an Andrew Cuomo devotional Cuomo, sorry, devotional candle. Obama scented candle. I find any of this kind of kitschy related thing cringe.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh.
God, so many stupid fucking mugs. Let's just... Trump in general.
That's some stellar Photoshop.
Oh no.
What are your thoughts on marriage?
What about it?
Somebody asked.
That's a very general question. If people want to get married, that's great. Marriage is great.
Oh, look at those socks.
That's... Oh god, the detail on that makes me uncomfortable.
That's creepy. Ooh, punch a Trump. What do you...
Seeing what the noise was.
Wait. You have to go back up. Okay, I thought that said Trump girl uwu. But it doesn't.
Uwu. Alright. I think that's about it for today.
Kiki, say goodbye to the people, Kiki.
Okay. So, thank you everyone for showing up today. Those of you that are still here. Oh wow, a 4-hour long stream. That's longer than I was planning to go. But, yeah, I'll be doing this more often, so if you haven't already followed me or whatever you can do on here, you can't subscribe as of yet because I gotta be a, I forget what it's called. Affiliate or partner or whatever. But, I'll be doing this a lot in the next month and beyond, so stay tuned. I will get better at this and get better graphics and everything for this as time goes on, but I just don't have any currently. So, hope y'all have a good night. See you later.
Bye.